All right, good morning, everybody. Today's date is March 22nd, 2023. This is a regular meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority being conducted in our New York City offices. Video conferencing is available in our Albany and Buffalo offices. Present today are Chairman Bradley and Commissioner Fan. Staff in attendance, General Counsel Kearney Sarfo, Associate Counsel Amarato, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Donahue, and myself, Secretary Roper. This meeting is being live streamed on the Authority's YouTube channel. The next regular meeting dates are April 4th, which is a Tuesday, April 26th, and May 10th. While in the meeting rooms, please silence your mobile phones and take any phone calls or conversations outside. No food or drinks. Public restrooms in New York City are located on the second floor. The restrooms on the third floor are for staff only. Please do not touch the microphone when you touch the podium or the table. Items will be called in the order they are signed in, first in Buffalo, then Albany, and then in New York City. When your item is called, please approach the podium and identify yourself. Representatives should identify their clients that are with them. Chairman, do you have any announcements?
No.
All right, so moving to Buffalo, we have one item. It is 421B. It is a recognition of Nancy Smith upon her retirement from the State Liquor Authority. And then if...
That's all of me.
Yeah?
That's all of me.
I know, but they need to say something. Buffalo, if you could, like, unmute and then say yourself so you can make the picture bigger.
We're here. I can't.
All right, great.
They left you all by yourself for this? No, then all get in there. Everybody get behind her. So as you heard, this is Nancy has been with us for 29 years. She is retiring. The one benefit that I get out of this job is I have never worked anywhere where we've had so many employees that have actually retired from this agency, having spent decades in the agency, which means somebody's doing something right, at least in the way we treat our employees. We have a resolution for Nancy. That resolution states, whereas Nancy Smith is retiring after more than 29 years of service to the state of New York, primarily with the Thruway Authority and the State Liquor Authority, and whereas Nancy came to the State Liquor Authority in 2009 and has served as Principal Clerk, Office Assistant 3, and most recently as a License Examiner 2 in the Authority's Licensing Bureau, and whereas Nancy never hesitated to assist other members of the staff whenever and wherever needed, whereas Nancy developed an expertise in finding lost applications. I want to tell you, it does not happen that frequently. And resolving unique application issues, whereas Nancy will be missed by her coworkers who have come to rely on her professionalism, knowledge, dedication to her duties, and work ethic, whereas Nancy's brownies will also be missed by the Buffalo licensing staff. Apparently, I've never had any, but apparently Nancy makes the best brownies in, at least in Western New York. Nancy is retiring at about the same time that her husband is retiring, and I've been told that they have obtained a motorhome and plan to travel to visit family. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So we wish you the best of luck. I want to thank you for all your service. I've always heard only great things about you. Tom, do you want to add anything?
No, I just want to thank you for your, in my brief time with the Licensing Bureau, thank you for all your efforts. And I wish you and your husband all the best.
Thank you for the recognition.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And there's nothing else signed in Buffalo. Nicole, if you could just leave the video open until like 10:30, we'll be good. Thank you.
In case anybody else wants to retire.
Just in case. So in Albany, Paula, we only have one person there right now, right? In Albany?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And that is 388 Seatown Food Mart, Inc. He is actually, Mr. Singh has requested a Punjabi interpreter just because he says he understands English, but he may need an interpreter to better express himself and for explanations. We've made the request and we haven't heard back yet about. So
You want to call it later?
we can call it later. We are expecting one other item in Albany, and that person hasn't. I just got confirmation. We do have an interpreter confirmed coming to New York City. That's Punjab. That's an Punjabi interpreter.
All right, we'll wait for him.
So we'll wait. And again, we'll move on to New York City since the other item that said they would come to Albany is not there yet.
Are you okay to do that?
What was that? Just wait.
Okay to start?
In New York City? Yeah. They're here. So first, I'm calling 405. It's a request for a declaratory ruling.
I mean, it is what it is.
I'm really supposed to wait till 10:30. There's no position.
For declaratory ruling, right? 405.
Yes. All right. Ready to proceed?
What number are we?
405.
Yep, go ahead.
Good morning, members. Max Bookman, Pizetsky, and Bookman for the requesting party for a declaratory ruling. With me is J.C. Tuwait, who is a principal officer of Barnes. They are the party requesting the declaratory ruling. Also with me is Sebastian Silvestri. He's the CEO of the Dynex Group. Sorry, there's an echo. I'm going to move this
Move it
away.
up. Yeah, move it up.
Up, right? Okay, there we go. Sebastian Silvestri, he's the CEO of the Dynex Group. That is Chef Daniel Balud's group, who is going to be the management company at this restaurant. Also sitting in the audience is the managers of the Beekman Co-op, who have been authorized by their co-op board to be here in attendance and in support of this declaratory ruling, as well as the OP application that's currently pending before licensing. So with all of those introductions out of the way, would the members like a synopsis of the facts, or should I go straight to the two legal arguments?
Why don't you go through the facts first, too?
Sure. So,
I'm familiar with them, but the facts obviously are what the concern is here.
sure. So the building that where there's currently a pending OP license application is called the Beekman. It was built in 1927, and there's been a restaurant there since 1928. And we have a pretty detailed, voluminous appendix in Exhibit E that includes newspaper clippings going back to the 1930s showing that when Prohibition ended, or at least as early as 1935, there had been liquor sold at that restaurant. Based on that, we've built a timeline that we've included in our request, which demonstrates that there's been a continuous licensing history from the end of Prohibition until 2020, when in December of 2020, the last licensee went out of business due to COVID. The purpose of this declaratory ruling is for a declaration that the 200-foot law would not prohibit the issuance of a full on-premises license to my client, just as it had not for the past nearly 90 years. There are two churches at issue, one church that is in our declaratory ruling request, and that's what I'm going to mainly talk about. There's a second church that, as we mentioned in our supplemental paragraph to the members, is also potentially at issue. But the main church at issue, which is at 583 Park Avenue, directly across the street from the licensed premises, is what we call the Rose Group Church. It's a little
For
noisy.
my own defense, meaning when you say we, you, because I don't call
Pardon me. On this side of the podium, I call it, and I've been referring to it as the Rose Group Church. And it's not a church at all, and that's the thrust of our factual and legal submission, is that in 2009, this agency determined that that building had been so extensively modified by the Rose Group, who leased the entire building from the Third Church of Christ Scientist, the owner of the church. They turned it into a multifaceted catering operation, which far exceeded incidental church uses. And so the agency determined that because of that, the building was no longer exclusively occupied as a church. That was relevant in 2009 because and the reason why the agency had to make that determination then is because the Rose Group had applied for their own full on-premises liquor license, and they needed to establish that they were merely the church's operator, because right next to their church is another church. So because that other church, the Christian Presbyterian Church, was clearly within 200 feet of the Rose Group church, they had to establish their own exception to the 200-foot law. So they relied on this church venue exception, and your agency said they're not entitled to it, and you did an extensive analysis of ABC Law 64-7 D1, and held that the Rose Group's use of that church was far more than incidental. They disagreed with you, they sued you, you lost at the trial court, and then you won in the appellate division, and the First Department agreed with your finding, and the First Department did their own extensive analysis of the Rose Group's utilization of that building to reach the same conclusion. And we quote we summarize extensively with citations to that in our submission. And it was the same conclusion, that the Rose Group's utilization of that building far exceeded incidental uses and really transcended into its own catering operation, completely independent of the church, and therefore the church building was not exclusively used as a church. So that gets us to 2012. And what we further put in our papers is that nothing's changed in the ensuing decade. We've done our own research. First of all, the lease that the Rose Group had from the church, as the court mentioned in 2012, doesn't expire until 2026. The Rose Group is still clearly there. We include photos and website screenshots to that effect. The lease was important because in the appellate division's analysis, there were several aspects of the lease that were central to its ruling that the building was not exclusively used as a church. The pews were removed, religious imagery was covered up or taken down. The church was only allowed to utilize the building on an extremely circumscribed basis, and anything beyond that had to get approval from the Rose Group. So those important lease provisions are still in effect. And if you look at the website, the Yelp clippings, the Facebook, all of the other indicators that are on the internet that we've submitted, it's clear that the Rose Group continues to utilize that building in the same way that it did when this agency last had opportunity to look at it. So that's our first. I was reciting the facts, but I wound up going into our first argument. So that's our first argument, is that church, that building, I should say, at 583 Park Avenue, is not exclusively occupied as a house of worship, a place of worship, and therefore, notwithstanding the distance of less than 200 feet to the licensed premises, it's the 200-foot law does not present a bar. The second separate and independent argument that we've offered is a grandfathering argument, and that argument has taken on new importance to us in light of what we've discovered about the second church, which is the Christian Presbyterian Church, the one directly next to what I've called the Rose Group Church. So it's further away from our premises. We're on one side of the Rose Group Church. The Christian Presbyterian Church is on the other side of the Rose Group Church. And we noted...
Is that within 200 feet?
Well, we're not sure. So we noted this. We didn't think so when we submitted our ruling request, but when we sent a supplemental paragraph to your supplemental submissions, after we submitted the ruling, it's come to our attention that there are several doors that are... of that Christian Presbyterian Church, and it's not clear to us at this point whether which of those doors count as providing routine entrance to churchgoers. There's a main entrance that's around the corner on 64th Street. That's clearly more than 200 feet away, but there's a closer door, and we're not sure. And we think instead of having the Enforcement Bureau go out and investigate this and having to investigate it further, we have a solid grandfathering argument. We're before you now, so what we'd like is your approval on the grandfathering argument. If you accept it, then there's no need to further inquire into the facts of how those closer doors are utilized.
You are on Park Avenue. Your exit is onto Park Avenue?
My licensed premises is on the building, the premises itself is on the corner of 63rd Street and Park. The entrance to the premises is on 63rd Street. There's very little Park Avenue frontage, although it is on the corner. So unfortunately, that Christian Presbyterian Church, which is also on Park Avenue, counts because they're both, because my premises is on the corner, even though its entrance is not. On the grandfathering argument, we also set this out in our papers. I've already covered the initial licensing history here. There was a restaurant here that opened during Prohibition. It's apparent to us that when Prohibition ended, they were immediately selling liquor. We have newspaper clippings as early as 1935 talking about liquor being available there, and there's an extensive licensing history that we've put together that is really unbroken. So that brings us to 2020, December of 2020, when the last licensee went out of business during COVID. We acknowledge that there's been a gap. There has been no license. The place has not been used. It's been vacant since December of 2020 until now. So that's that was 2 years when we started doing this. Now it's slightly over 2 years. We think that falls squarely within your standard, often applied interpretation of the continuously licensed requirement under the ABC law, under Section 64. You've never interpreted that literally.
No, don't say that.
All right, I guess I can't say never, Mr. Donahue.
Well, we have.
Well, you, in recent times, I should say, you've not interpreted it literally.
We have not, but
Chairman-
Tom is correct. We have.
Under Chairman Boyle, it was interpreted, to mean no gaps.
I stand corrected then. That was a wrong assumption. So it's, at least as long as I've been aware, it hasn't been interpreted literally. In court papers, you've represented to courts as to why you don't interpret it literally, and I think it makes a great deal of sense.
You bring that 500-foot case, that recent 500-foot case,
Yeah.
which the court disagreed with our finding.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any other cases where we have extended it beyond a day and the court agreed with it?
I'm not aware
I'm
of.
not aware of it either. I'm just asking if you found it.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm obviously, as you are as well, Mr. Chairman, aware of your board's practice to extend it
Yeah.
beyond, but I've not seen that challenged before. And the only challenge that I'm aware of is the court case that I referred to and that you just referred to. And I think that's readily distinguishable. I mean, obviously that case is, would be on the members' minds here, but I think it's important to distinguish that case. What the court did in that case, and the opinion is it's a trial court opinion, and it's a pretty brief opinion. It's not very thoroughly reasoned. Is what they faulted you for was, as I read it, is for misapplying, in the court's view, your policy for interpreting gaps. In other words, the court did not go so far as to say that you must interpret the statute literally. It did not say that, and I think for good reason. Because it's good policy not to interpret the statute literally, and it's rational to conclude that the legislature never intended for the statute to be interpreted literally. A gap of one.
I don't know if I agree.
Well, a gap of 1 day is.
I agree with the first part of what you're saying. I don't know if I agree with the second.
Well, I don't think the court touched that issue. What the court faulted you for is they said that your justification for licensing that establishment, it was under the 500-foot law, but it was the same language, was that there was exceptional circumstances, there was special circumstances, and what the court said was, well, the circumstance that you gave was COVID, except the premises had not been licensed for over 4 years, and 2 of those years was before the pandemic. So that's what they faulted you for. That's entirely different in this scenario. In this case, we have a gap in licensing of 2 years, so a lot shorter than in that case. And the gap in licensing not only started during COVID, but it was because of COVID. And we've included media postings, media articles to that effect at the time. It was the owner was quoted as saying that he was closing his business down because he couldn't survive COVID. And so that's nothing if but a special circumstance. The way you described it to.
So I understand your argument. I don't think you even need to go on. I've read everything, and she understands it as well. I'm going to stop you simply because I need to go back and talk to counsel about this, so I'm going to put it over.
I'll put it over. Okay.
This obviously, I think it's been very clear in the past that I have been somebody that will push this as far as I can. Well, somebody told me recently that I pushed it too far. I just want to make sure this one is not too far.
Okay. If I could say one more thing before you put it over, which is that another important, not necessarily legal aspect, but atmospheric aspect that's different here is that Nobody is in opposition to this application.
You.
Nobody is
So I just
in
want to
opposition
go
here.
talk to council after this meeting, and then we'll put it on for next meeting, and we'll have an answer for you then.
Understood.
April 4, Tuesday.
Well, is it gonna make some sense if we're holding this over?
You want to go later?
You know what we're gonna do too?
So
We're gonna measure it
let's-
too. Yeah.
Because that may resolve
Because
the
then
issue one way or
if
the
we
other.
can find a way that it's not 200 feet, that's even better.
If, I would hope that we can get that measurement done before the next full board
No,
meeting.
we'll do that. We'll
Okay.
send somebody on. Can you just email
Let's
Joe and
go
send
to
somebody out?
four is okay?
No, they can get it done by
Okay.
then, yeah.
It's important to us that the next board meeting
Just tell them
may be decided
Okay.
then.
on the measurement and on the report. All right.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Albany.
Oh, okay, I'll take my papers.
You have one that showed up in Albany. It's 417 Nelly's Liquor Store Court. Wait, sorry.
417.
Never mind. No, I'm wrong.
No, no,
I'm
no.
looking at it's 390 the little liquor store Inc.
390. Okay.
You can go ahead and
Good morning, board members. My name is Sanampreet Kaur, and this is Maninderjeet Singh.
How is he related?
Oh, he's a business manager.
Okay.
And you're the owner?
Yes.
Is he gonna manage the store?
He's gonna help.
Okay. Because in your application, you said you were gonna manage it.
No, I am gonna manage it, but currently with the situation, just in case if I need help, he's gonna be there helping me also. I'm a step ahead, just in case, yeah.
That's the owner.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. All right, I'm good.
All right. The closest store is 3.9 miles away. The next one is 5.8. All the surrounding stores are showing healthy growth. I'm going to find public convenience and advantage because this is a very small store with 600 square foot of retail. I'm gonna vote to approve.
I'll vote to approve under the same condition. Or for the same reasons, I mean.
you've been approved.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Mr. Singh, we're still waiting for the interpreter. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
no, Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Singh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Next in New York City is 387 Foods of America Inc. Okay.
Down, oh, there it is.
That was fast. Okay, ready to proceed?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning again, members. Max Bookman, Pizetsky and Bookman for the applicant. With me is Amin. He's one of the partners, one of the principals of Foods of America. This is an application for an on-premises license for what most people would call a restaurant. There's a full food menu prepared in a full kitchen by a full-time chef. We include photos in our exhibit.
Does this place itself have a kitchen and a chef?
I was getting there, Mr. Donahue.
Well, you just said it did.
Well, yes, the food is prepared in a full kitchen by a full-time
Where's the
chef.
kitchen?
The kitchen, this is the problem, which I was getting to. The kitchen is across a hallway. This is in a hotel. There's a hotel hallway, and we include the layout in one of our exhibits. There's a peculiar layout to this hotel where there's a hotel hallway, and that does not belong to us. It's not part of our lease. On one side of the hallway is the premises where food is consumed and alcoholic beverages are consumed. On the other side of the hallway is the kitchen, which is not part of the licensed premises. It can't be, where the food is cooked. Because
So the food's not kept on the premises.
Well, food is brought from the kitchen, which is off the premises.
I come into the premises, I order something. That food is not on the premises.
Some of it is. Some of it's in the food prep area, which is part of the licensed premises behind the bar.
Because you understand, to meet the tavern food requirement,
Right.
the food has to be available and kept on the premises.
Yes.
It can't be kept someplace else.
Well, so that's
Otherwise,
right.
we'd have people calling up the local pizzeria to have pizza.
Well, that's right, Mr. Donahue, which is why in deficiencies, one of the things that we identified to the examiner was that there is indeed a food prep area. There are certain, appetizer and other items which meet the tavern requirements, which are kept in the food prep area behind the bar. So
So is the menu that you provided, is that the menu of the food that's kept on the premises, or what you're going to bring in from the other kitchen?
the menu that I provided to the examiner in deficiencies is the menu of food that's kept on the premises. That's not the menu that's in my papers now. The menu that's in my papers now is what is a more fulsome menu, which includes food that's kept and prepared off the premises.
But it's, the two areas, well, they're separated by something that's not leased by your applicant. They're both leased by the same company.
That's right. But the two areas are under the same lease. It's one lease. It just says you get this area and you get that area, and you don't get the hallway in between. And the reason why you can issue a license here is that even though I acknowledge that ABC Law 1069 would generally prohibit this type of internal access, which is what the Licensing Bureau's memorandum identifies, there's a few exceptions, to that requirement, and we think we fit comfortably into the hotel dining room exception to that requirement. That prohibition says that it doesn't count if the premises licensed as a tavern under 64A6A is the dining room of a hotel and serves hotel guests.
And if the board makes a finding of public convenience and advantage.
Well,
You want to argue about
I
that?
do.
But that's the way it reads.
All right, well, I do disagree with that reading. I think those are two separate grammatical clauses. They're separated by a semicolon, and
No, they're not.
and the public convenience and advantage
No, there's no
requirement.
semicolon there.
Well, I think it is. Let me pull it up.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think there's a public convenience. I mean, I do.
It is a 500-foot case.
Well, for that reason, there's a public interest finding that's necessary. I agree with that, Mr. Chairman.
No, it's
I
a
understand what
separate
you're saying. It's
finding.
got to be a public convenience and advantage, I guess. But that's pretty much every license, too.
You don't want to go there.
We agree to disagree.
Alright.
on
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to quibble on that. I think the point is that this is clearly a hotel dining room.
Where are the restrooms? Are they in the establishment, or you have to go into the hotel?
They're across the hallway, so they're on the side of the hallway where the kitchen is, although it's not in the kitchen, and our lease says that we can use them,
So
so.
one question I have is, your client appears to have applied for a lot of licenses
Yeah,
and been denied on just about every one.
yeah, I can address that.
Can you? 'Cause
Yeah.
I have no idea why that's.
Well, so that was a
I'm talking about almost a dozen.
Yeah, I know. So that was a surprise to me. It was actually a surprise to all of us. We had to get information from your helpful board info email address to understand it. The vast majority of those disapprovals, 10 of those 12 disapprovals, were from 2009 to 2011 when they applied for 10 Even Place beer licenses for 10 different hot dog carts, not through my office. And I don't know why anyone thought that an on-premises.
They tried to license a hot.
They tried to license a hot dog, 10 different hot dog carts. And I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea to do, but they tried and they got disapproved 10 times. It wasn't on character and fitness grounds. The other two disapprovals were for grocery store licenses, grocery beer licenses. And in both of those, they couldn't meet the conditions necessary to establish that they were bona fide grocery stores.
What's the BL, Tom?
Vessel liquor.
Is the name White Olive or White Olives?
White Olives is the DBA. The corporate name is Foods of America. Why, do you see a white olive somewhere?
No, because on your website, it's just White Olive.
It is olive.
Oh, it's olive, it's not
just
white olives?
olive, right?
Okay, we'll have to amend that.
Every other document says Olives.
That's my fault then. We'll have to amend that to
Yeah,
say
you
white
might wanna
olive.
Fix that.
Yeah.
And it's 2 a.m.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to vote in the affirmative. 2 a.m. across the board. Bathroom waiver is okay. Recorded music only.
I'll do the same.
Thank you. Mr. Donahue, it's a comma. I stand corrected.
Not a
You
comma
want-
either.
I'm sorry, you
I'm
mentioned,
not, it's not a comma.
I'm gonna,
Can she finish?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner. I thought you were done.
I'm
Pardon
gonna
me.
do 2 private events a month. So I'm gonna do 24 for the year and no promoters.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do the same.
Pardon me. I
Yep.
thought you were done voting. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, next is 406 European Johnny's Cafe LLC.
406.
Get to that. All right, European Johnny's Cafe LLC. Oh, he's right there.
Yeah. You're up.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Patrick DeLuca. I'm here to represent European Johnny's Cafe LLC. These are my clients, Joanna and Marta. The prior license was canceled. My clients have no connection to the previous people. And they've been operating the premise since May of 2022 under a temporary without any incidents. So
Yeah.
Are they?
we're here to answer any questions.
Do you
that
know that the former owners, either of you ladies? No. Did you put their names on the record? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I tried to pronounce, I'm sorry, sir. It's Pawellik, Marta Pawellik and Joanna.
And you don't know the former owner? You know the former history here?
I mean, we heard of it because it was in the neighborhood, but we don't know them.
And what are your hours gonna be?
We didn't.
What are your
submit.
hours now? There isn't
It's
any
on
in the.
Wednesday and Thursday from 2 p.m. to 10. Friday 1 to 11, Saturday 12 to 11, and Sunday 12 to 10.
The prior
And
issue.
who is Johnny?
That's the original owner,
Oh,
like the original, like he passed
You're
away,
keeping the name.
It's in the neighborhood and it's been passed down over the years. And the issues, the prior licensees' issues were almost entirely COVID related. Most of the things that were on there, notice of pleading was COVID issues.
How you guys know each other?
Friends.
Okay. So how are you going to work out the responsibilities?
We already did. We're sharing.
You, what does that mean?
Kind of buying
Like,
time.
how is it being broken up?
They operated now since May, so
Mr.
I
DeLuca, she's talking to
Oh,
them.
I
Like,
apologize.
Like, how long are
Oh, I'm
both
sorry.
you gonna be on premise?
I mean, it's either me or Martha is on premises all the time, hours of operation. So it's some days I'm there and some days she's there, depends, because like we have families, but between two of us, we're
So you
able
play
to-
it by ear,
Yes,
and then sometimes both of you are there?
yes. Correct.
Okay.
Are the members ready to vote?
I'm ready whenever you are. Oh, I do. You know?
All right.
Commissioner Fan?
Yeah, I'm gonna vote to approve recorded and live acoustic music only. Midnight across the board, 6 private events per year, no promoters.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll do the same. What's the music you gave him? Recorded?
And acoustic.
Okay.
Acoustic live.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that was in the application.
Yeah.
Next is 394, Annis Wine and Liquor Inc.
I'm not running it.
394?
394.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman Bradley, Commissioner Fan, Mayor Fakori. To my right is Hareen Shah, President and owner of Innis Wine and Liquor Inc. I don't know if there's any opposition, Chairman. I don't know.
Is there opposition? Come on up.
Good morning, members. Tej Singh, representing Poughkeepsie Wine and Liquors. And I'm just opposition to the new package deal that's being opened.
Can you
if I
speak up into the microphone? We can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Tej Singh from Poughkeepsie Wine and Liquors. And if I have a moment, I would like to make this statement.
Yeah, go
What's
ahead.
your address?
701 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601.
Okay.
In about a 2-mile radius from the new Proposition store, there are already 5 stores that are being opened up. Recently, about 2 years ago, Crazy Bob had been approved to be open. And then from my understanding, Sunshine Liquors. There's already numerous stores in the city of Poughkeepsie and the town. I do believe that this new store that's trying to open up will not benefit anything around the community, as other stores are already trying. Our numbers remain to be flat, and prices on deep buys have been rising more than ever. We're a driving community. While the proposed store is in the town of Poughkeepsie, it is the border of the city of Poughkeepsie too, and it surrounds the city. My store is only approximately 0.8 miles from the new location, and I wasn't notified via email or through mail.
You didn't get a request for sales? No.
Yeah,
No.
look, his store wasn't listed, but I just Googled it and it's.
So he's actually the closest
It's probably
store?
one of the closer stores, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So he's not on our list.
So I'm checking to see why the proximity report
Okay,
didn't
go ahead,
have him
sir.
listed.
There are approximately 5 stores that were nearby, starting with me, 0.8 miles, Plaza Wine and Liquors, what is 1.6, and then Southside 1.9, and then Crazy Bob that I recently mentioned that opened up. And then also I find it at fault with how $50,000 that they will be able to buy inventory, put up shelving for a store that is right now a convenience store with beer sales and lottery. I wasn't notified, and I didn't have enough time to prep. You know, I would have hired an attorney, but that's why everybody that sent out the letters from Crazy Bob, myself, Juan and Paza, everybody was at like 1:45, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
A lot of the liquor stores around the area were not notified.
Well, only the 4, you should have been notified, clearly.
Yes, sir.
But we don't generally notify every liquor store in the area. How many do we notify? 4?
Yes,
I
and
think
unless
there-
the list is more grouped together.
I'm sorry, when I sent out an email to the board information, there were 4 stores, but mine being the closest and not being notified, I didn't have a lot of time to prep for this.
And how far is Crazy Bob's from you?
I would say probably 1.4 miles, maybe.
So they're on the other side of this.
It's, no, there will be northeast looking in that direction.
For some reason, it didn't even show up on our computer generated report, which is why you didn't get the notice. So there was a glitch in the system. It didn't, our database didn't pop you up on the map, which is why you didn't get the notice. But you
But you're here,
clearly
so-
are, yeah.
I mean, I just wish I would have had more time to prepare for
No, you did
something like
fine.
this. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So just so the records, we did get protests from the other surrounding liquor stores as well.
I understand. I assumed you would. So this location is in the town of Poughkeepsie. If you look at the map of the town of Poughkeepsie in relation to the city of Poughkeepsie, which I printed out, and if you want a copy, I have copies for the board. This location is directly in front of the city of Poughkeepsie. The locations who are opposing this and the person who was just here opposing it is all south of this location. So our clientele is going to cater to a location that has been in the city of Poughkeepsie on the north side of where we're located, which is called Smith Street Wine and Liquor. They closed down. They were there for 20 plus years, maybe 30, I've heard. Shut down about 3-4 years ago. Our clientele is going toward 115, toward the edge of city of Poughkeepsie, Salt Point, Hyde Park, Statsburg, that area. Innis Avenue is a corridor for people coming from that section, going toward the south, toward town of Poughkeepsie, city of Poughkeepsie, and maybe even toward the Taconic. So Innis Avenue is a main corridor. We, it's better late than never, but we ended up getting verbal confirmation and commitment from the third ward, Ann Berger. She, and I, better late than never, but we put on the record, she contacted my client. They're in full support of this location, given that when Smith Street closed, it caused a vacuum for people to go from that side of town, which again is the north part of the town of Poughkeepsie, to cut across, go down Innis Avenue, cross a 3-lane highway, which is the 4455 arterial, go another few more blocks, get to Main Street to the person who was just here speaking before. So in this location.
But let's be clear, they're going in a car.
Correct, but.
And it's less than a mile.
Correct. So this location across the street, so this sits directly in the middle between two main complexes. Richfield Apartments has 294 apartments, which is exactly across the street from this location. Behind this location is Mountain Brook, which has 288 apartments. Majority of these people walk to this location. Right next door to this location was a brand new plaza that was just built. Gas station, pizza place, and laundromat. Then when Smith Street closed, you had people from Corley's Manor Apartments, which is another 200 plus units behind this location also. So we're talking a matter of almost 900 units within walking distance of Innis Avenue. So I drew on this map, and I don't know if the board wants to look at it, and just to show you the clientele we're trying to cater to is not the city of Poughkeepsie Main Street, because they're gonna have their own clientele, walking distance, and city of Poughkeepsie residents. We understand that. This location is really catering to.
I've worked in the city of Poughkeepsie for 10 years, or
Yeah.
7 years. They're not walking.
But Main Street, Poughkeepsie?
Well,
My office is in the city of Poughkeepsie. I used to live in Hyde.
and there's various reasons for that I'm not gonna get into here.
Sure.
But,
This location, and not to cut you off, Chairman Bradley, the location that we're talking about, when Smith Street closed, and to our knowledge, the owner passed away 4 years ago, it created a vacuum. So you have that whole section north of Innis Avenue, going toward Smith Street, going toward 115 Salt Point, Hyde Park. Those are the clientele that come by this way that we're catering to. And again, another,
so I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
First of all, who owns this building that he's going in? Are you
His-
related to the owner?
the owner of the building is my aunt's husband, yes.
Okay. Just so that's clear.
Yeah.
Second, he filed a personal questionnaire and listed on the personal questionnaire 3 active licenses he had. Great. The problem with that is they're not his licenses.
The owner of the building?
No,
him.
Oh.
So then that got amended, and they took all 3 of those licenses off the personal questionnaire, and then added one that he does own.
He does own one.
Right, well, what
You're not
happened,
getting-
where'd the other 3
Did
go?
we could discuss that. So that was a clerical error, not on his part, on the officer's part who filled out this application.
But he signed the personal questionnaire.
He did sign a personal questionnaire. He does own,
His relatives own those?
no.
So
He,
there are he has no connection to those licenses whatsoever.
No.
none.
Have you ever stepped foot in them? That you're
The
aware?
only ones he is in charge of is one in Highland, New York.
I got that. I'm
Yeah.
asking him, those 3 licenses that were mistakenly put on his PQ, has he ever been in any of the 3 licensed premises?
You can
his
answer that.
knowledge.
Which I would need to know what they are.
No,
Did
the
you
ones that
see-
were by mistake. Did you even know anything about them?
No, that's what I'm saying. Which location? I don't know.
Tom,
what
read them off to him.
I go back and find them. What we're saying, you signed a document saying you held 3 licenses,
Okay.
but you don't.
No, I only have one.
But you signed a document saying you did.
I don't know how I did that. I don't know
Miss-
how that
again-
some sort of a.
Hold on, Ms. Donahue, I mean, with all due respect to the board, when the
So
legal
he-
secretaries fill out these documents, they come in, you know, do
But
they
he,
go?
but he signed it, okay? And we've talked about this.
We get typos happen. but
Time
he
and
did-
again.
He did sign it.
We understand.
So, he does hold the AX license at the same location?
No, the location we're applying for?
Yes.
No, he does not.
He's not,
No.
he does not hold that, but it's
No.
a different grocery store that you're trying to turn into a liquor
Yes,
store.
yeah.
Correct.
It's a deli
And
that
it's
is not
currently a deli.
It's currently a deli that's not being successful. The owner of that deli wants to get out of it. The owner of the property is asked around who wants to do anything there because the owner of the deli is going to pretty much pack up shop within a year and leave. He can't.
These are the 3 places. Era Gasoline, 55 Washington Street, Poughkeepsie. Shaw Gasoline, 190 Innis Avenue, Poughkeepsie. Innis Deli, 174. This one, the
Okay,
grocery
so-
store that's there, you said you were the licensee.
I got it. Mr. Donahue.
No,
I
why
can
can't
answer
he
that because the office that filled out the paperwork, I'm very familiar with. Those are the 3 licenses for the current owner of the deli. So that's where the confusion was. That's the current owner of the current deli there.
You don't know this guy.
No, I know him of him. He's part of the community, so we
Is
do
he
know
related
him.
to you?
No, not at all. No.
He's the one that wants out of this business.
I
So
got that, but
Right. No
people
relationship
come
at
in
all.
here and tell me all kinds of stories.
Right, yeah.
Regularly.
No,
And
absolutely.
this jumps out like red light.
It's the same last name, so it will. Yes, I understand. that.
Chairman Bradley, we could put on the record here, he has no relation to him. The facts of this application is the person who owns the deli, those are the license to him. There's no relation. The guy wants out of that business. They all talk amongst each.
Then we go back to the fact is, how would your staff confuse that guy to the extent that he puts these 3 licenses
They mu-
on his personal questionnaire?
So
That's bizarre to me.
I
Because
could.
he's not applying, the guy that owns the deli is not applying for
Correct.
anything.
They must have, when they pulled up the application and they saw the owner's information, she must have put up the Shaw last name and they put those, so I can't answer why, but I could tell you mistakes happen. He has no relation to the current owner. The current owner wants out of that location. We know that for a fact. If he gets approved, he's out of there. He doesn't want that business no more.
Okay.
I mean, mistakes happen and he takes responsibility. He did sign it, but the mistake that is clearly is the original owner of the deli that's there now. Those are his applications. Has nothing to do with the applicant. 0. No relation. We also, in the last 12,
Go ahead.
so basically, everything was last minute. We got the phone call from the 4th Ward, Michael Safone. He has no issues with this location, is in full support of it. It's town of Poughkeepsie. And the 3rd Ward, Ann Berger, but again, we're putting on the record, she verbally called and didn't have enough time to write the letter, but she could send the letter. She's in full support of this. We also just did a petition because for people who were going to support it. Within 12 hours, we got 94 signatures from the people who just walked around that location, said this would be a great location. Again, I drew up the map just to show the board what our target area was ever since Smith Street closed. It has nothing to do with the south of us. We are targeting everything.
Wasn't Smith Street near Crazy Bob's?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Smith Street, if you go down Innis Avenue, which is
I'm
115.
looking at the map. I
Yeah,
see it's
where
a
it
lot-
splits.
Smith Street's a lot closer to Crazy Bob than it is to your place.
All right, Donald, I think we're ready.
All right, Commissioner Fan?
I'm gonna vote to deny. This location is a grocery store. I cannot find public convenience advantage to make it into a liquor store.
And Chairman Bradley?
I'm gonna vote to deny as well, and it's not because of the clerical error. It really is the fact that we opened Crazy Bob's 2020, Tom, am I right about that?
I believe so. Let me just-
And the population in Poughkeepsie, I know
Yes.
myself, is stagnant, and there are 2 stores under a mile away, and then you have 3 others that are just over a mile away. So I just don't see the public convenience and advantage to adding another one.
Thank you.
So thank you. All right, so
Chairman, Commissioner, everybody, thank you.
Take care.
I'll try to find out what happened and why he didn't get noticed. Should have popped up on the,
I'm wondering if Crazy Bob's did too, because why would they not send a letter? Oh, because they just opened.
we have a Spanish interpreter here. So I'm gonna call up 417 Nelly's Liquor Store Corp.
417.
yeah. Was a holdover.
And is the Spanish interpreter here?
Why did we pull this over?
For the applicant to show up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you wanted them to show up.
My notes are on the page before that.
Jonathan is the Spanish interpreter?
Yeah.
I guess, are you the interpreter? Yes. If you could,
Right.
can you please put your name on the record, Miss Interpreter?
El nombre. Aurelia. Aurelia Garcia.
Aurelia Garcia? Okay. And then,
Good morning, members. My name is Carrie Nova, and I'm here representing Ned Liquor Store. I was here on the 8th, but she wasn't available, so we got today's date to be here in front of you guys.
Cool. So she owns the sports bar. Is that all the other locations? The other location is close to here or no?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How far is the sports bar location from here?
Oh, the liquor is right next to each other. It's on the same block.
It's right next to each other?
Yeah, it's on the same block. The sports bar is right next to, actually, next to a barber shop, and then there's Nelly Liquor Store.
Okay.
Yeah. I know I had a little back and forth with the diagram, so I want to apologize for that, because I had to actually even go in person.
She's showing only $6,000 investment in the store, which is probably insufficient. So,
The landlord gave her the lease, and she hasn't been paying the rent until she gets approved for the license.
okay. What about just
Well,
stocking?
¿Cuánto tú has gastado en negocios? Yes, she's been, that's how much she's been investing in the liquor store. This is around $6,000 to $7,000. Once, we get, if we get approved, she's gonna invest on.
But the minute she opens the store, she's gonna owe $5,000 to the landlord, $2,500 a month in rent, and I presume there's gonna be a security deposit.
Yeah, she has that cover.
But that's $5,000 out of the $6,000.
Well, I didn't include that in the,
When we asked what invested in an establishment, if it was
yeah, I
everything
didn't,
invested.
yeah, I didn't
So how
include.
much does she have invested?
¿Cómo cuánto? ¿Cuánto fue difícil? Sí, ajá, ¿cómo cuánto fue invertido? Entonces era como $12,000.
So where is the remainder of the money come from? Is that her money?
It's her money saved from, she has saved at home.
Okay, is she keeping her finances clear between the two businesses? Because she can't commingle them. She
Yes.
has to make separate alcohol orders. She has to keep the books really separate from each other.
Yes, she is. She is.
Okay, well, we just asked you about the finances and not everything is even being shown here, so.
No, because I only include in the financials, in the financial part, what she invested in the liquor store. I didn't include nothing that has to do with the sports bar.
All right.
the members ready to vote? All right, Commissioner Fan?
We did get one protest from one of the
One of the
closest stores.
Oh, yeah.
And this will be bulletproof, this store?
No.
Well, your application indicates it will be. Correct? Or did I misread that?
Let me double check the application.
Yeah.
It says.
Tú vas a poner la venta.
It has to go back to 309.
Well, it's gonna, in the future, if it has to be, then it
So
will.
here's the thing, so.
No, it says it will be
So,
bulletproof.
in the application, you say it will be bulletproof.
Yeah.
The diagram shows a non-bulletproof
It's,
store.
right now, it's not at the moment, so I apologize for that.
At the
but
moment, so what is it going to be?
It's not gonna be bulletproof. It's a small town, it's very, quiet there. There's never
So
been any
it's gonna
problems.
It's gonna match what's in the diagram.
Yes, correct.
Because one of the closest stores is bulletproof.
Oh, I'm not aware of that,
Yes, you're not, Kaz's Wines and Liquors is not bulletproof?
I'm not aware of that liquor
Have you
store.
ever been in it?
No, because actually I work here in the Bronx,
Can you ask her if she's been in it?
What's the name of the liquor store, I'm sorry?
Kaz's Wines and Liquors on Route 42 North.
She has never asked about that.
And never been inside it?
Yes, she has.
So you don't have to ask, are you able to touch the product in the store, or is there plexiglass everywhere?
It's open.
Open?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fan, if you're ready.
My client has other businesses over there too. She's never had any problems with SLA. She was the owner also for the Nelly the Nelly restaurant, and she's well familiar. She's been over in Monticello for over 20 years.
How is she gonna run this and the sports bar? Because you tell me that she's gonna be full-time running here, so. who's
She's
gonna-
going to have her son help her at the liquor store.
All right. I'm gonna vote to approve.
Thank you.
Chairman Bradley.
Gracias, señor.
All right, I'll vote to approve as well.
Thank you. Have a good
Good
day.
luck.
Have a good day. And Ms. Garcia, I got one more application for you. 410 Palacios 149 Corp.
Good morning, members of the authority. Aurelia Tavares here for Palacios 149 Corp. I'm here with the owner, and we do require an interpreter.
I'm confused, so change his name?
Can you put the interpreter's name on the record again, please?
Yeah, if you could just say your name one more time.
Aurelia Garcia.
Thank you.
Yo me llamo Aurelia.
I don't understand.
The last application was under a different corporate name, the same principle. That application was denied. Because of the denial, this has to go before the full board.
But it's the same applicant,
It's the same applicant,
and we denied for cause last time.
a different name,
A
different corporate
yes.
name, but same location.
Yes.
So what's changed?
It's a different filer, and the deficiencies in the prior application.
Who's different?
Me. I didn't file the original
The
application.
problem we had was with the applicant.
Actually, it was with the deficiencies in the application. He has no history with the members of the authority.
The problem was, he told us he lived one place and he actually was from another.
No, he lives, they rented the first floor and the second floor. He lives on the second floor.
No, you're missing my point. The original application said he was from Mass. He came in here and told us he was from Maryland.
No, he lives in, he had a business in Maryland, and he moved to New York, and the person who filed this application had numerous discrepancies, and that's why even the landlord requested that he change the corporation, unrelated, because she didn't want this, in the accountant, they cleaned everything up. Even the person they put on the corporation was wrong.
How
So,
did the legal name of this person change?
I'm sorry?
I mean, he changed his actual name.
No, it's to file the corporation. Yes.
Just a corporation.
It's a little confusing because
It's
this,
different.
yeah, this is,
Applicant principal name is completely different.
again, I didn't file that application, Commissioner Fan.
Decision
Hold on, let me.
and this applicant name is different. The last name is different.
On this application, I put his full name, we put his AKA, we put in everything that's on his resident and alien card. We gave you everything so that there would be no discrepancy. He does live on the second floor apartment.
It wasn't a change of name. I think, as Mr. Tavares is indicating, the application was a little fuzzy about giving details.
Which didn't get any clearer when we started asking them questions.
Right.
Which last name was used in that application, but then now the last name is now the name of the corporation. I'm not saying you're hiding anything, I'm just saying that.
No, we wanted to be transparent. That's why everything that was started from scratch with everything correctly identified to the members of the authority. In addition, some of the concerns in the prior application were his lack of experience. They've been without a license at this location for 2.5 years. Any experience that the members of the authority feel the applicant is lacking have been gained through the day-to-day struggles of this business since its prior denial. And
Ms. Tavares, when we talk about experience in an establishment, we talk about experience in licensed establishments. He has not been licensed. So while he's certainly running, I guess, a food establishment at this time, it doesn't go to the licensing of this place, that experience.
I understand.
That comes with different challenges and obligations.
And they're willing to undergo them. There's no
I'm
obligation.
just pointing out your statement that you're trying to use that experience as experience that should help him with this. In my mind, it doesn't. Completely different obligations.
I would say 80% of the applicants have no prior experience with the liquor authority, and they still get a license.
Experience last time, it was that the application was full of lies.
No, it was full of discrepancies, and he wasn't the filer, and he doesn't enter. No, what I mean, he wasn't the filer of the application, and also he doesn't speak English, Chairman Bradley, which is clear here with the application, with the applicant today. We also took some remedial measures so that, he has a security guard on the weekends. This is a restaurant, where our operating hours are 1 a.m. all around the clock. The method of operation is, he has karaoke, DJ, live music on the weekends only. There'll be no dancing. There's no quality of life issues with the community board. He's not violated. They're struggling. He hasn't violated. He hasn't done anything to warrant the disapproval of this license. This is a wine and beer, and this is a probationary. And I would add, we're here for a temporary retail permit, a probationary license with the members of the authority. If you have any doubts, it takes 9 months now to get a liquor license. If you can't, with a probationary temporary permit, you can see if this is not an applicant that you want running an establishment, because we're here for a temp permit, Chairman Bradley. We're not here for a final license.
Mr. Fan, just to clear up one thing. So the first application, the Melkin Zaleha, that was given as his middle name in the first application. This application doesn't have
The actual last name on it.
Well, yeah, this is the name that's being given to us now.
Right, which is just his first and his middle name.
I don't know.
Which is supposed to be more information.
It's what it shows on his ID. We went by everything that, we wanted to be
His
consistent.
ID shows his first and middle name.
Initial of his, correct.
Proceed here somewhere.
And just to be clear, this place was a huge issue for the neighborhood previously.
Correct. That was 3 years ago, Chairman Bradley, 3.5 years ago.
Right, and it hasn't had liquor since then, and it has not been an issue.
Then control the method of operation and the hours, but they're struggling, and we're in a post-COVID era. This is a temporary permit. You get cancelable at any time. You have, the members of the authority can test. This is a temporary permit to test.
Not denied for cause, not because of he got denied because of the misrepresentations that were in the application.
But they've been corrected in this
Now
one.
it's all different information. So you want me just to throw that application out and say, oh, it's all a mistake?
It's not different application. It is corrected and amended so that it's easier. You know, I don't know who filed this application. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. I'm here to present the application and the applicant here today with the corrected information. This is how he signs his paperwork. This is how he is on his driver's license. This is what he represents, and it is corrected in the present application, Chairman Bradley. And again, this is a wine and beer temporary permit.
That makes no difference to me as far as whether he's a good candidate for a liquor license when he lies to us.
He's not, the failures.
Mr. Tavares, I'm looking at the IDs that were submitted with the first application and now with this application. And all the IDs have the third name on it.
Can we have clarity from the applicant? Usted.
Well, no, but the
now you want
the
clarity from
personal
him?
questionnaire doesn't list the third name.
Because he tells me he doesn't use it every day. I'm giving you the name that he
You
uses
just
every
told
day.
us you took everything off his IDs.
And you
We
said that
just
you were
told you that that's
clarifying
not what
and.
the IDs
But
say.
it's in his AKAs. Usted explique cómo usted firma su licencia y su todo. Que la ID dice una cosa y la aplicación dice otra. ¿Cómo que usted pone su nombre?
Melkin Vladimir Zelaya Palacio.
Melkin Vladimir.
Well, we should be using
Oh.
the interpreter. I mean,
Okay.
Melkin Vladimir Zelaya Palacio.
My name is Melkin
Vladimir
Vladimir
Zelaya
Celaya
Palacios.
Palacios.
That's not the name that was put on the personal questionnaire for this application.
When I filled out this form, I asked him what he uses as his daily name.
Yeah. All right.
Mr. Tavares, I can't, I'm gonna vote to deny here, and it's not because of that. It's because of everything. And I'm reading the decisions about why we denied last time. There were misrepresentations in the application. There was a loan from his sister for $35,000 that we found out about at the board meeting. That wasn't in the application. There were, every time we asked a question similar to here, there was new information being told to us. You can't fix that 2 years later. It's not gonna happen to me, because at some point, somebody was lying about something, and then I go to the reason about why. And I can't figure out why, but it happened, and it can't be a good reason. So I'm gonna deny this for cause.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote to deny as
So
well.
just so we're clear, this is the permit that's before you.
Yes.
I would do the same for the license.
So with respect to the license application, you want to have licensing go ahead and disapprove it based on the reasons you're stating?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I understand your point that he can't get on without alcohol. I don't know who I'm talking to. Because I don't know right now, we don't even know what his name is.
Well, I would ask this, that the temporary permit be disapproved as it's being done today, and that he's offered an opportunity to amend the permanent license.
But how many amendments do we get? The last time he came in here, then he asked for recon and we got more information last time. Now you're coming in here, we're getting different information.
I'm getting the information that was given
I'm
to
supposed to just
me.
ignore all that information we got previously? That's not gonna happen. That information is now in his, at least, liquor license record with us. And it has not been explained to me why it's wrong. So until it is, I don't know what to tell you. There's not much I can do about it.
So can we get our temp denied and and when the application comes up, we offer the explanation if it's still not satisfactory to the members of the authority, but to deny outright, it's just,
Let him, if she wants to come in here and try it again, and then we're gonna get a fourth story, but go ahead.
So you want this then to come to the full board then?
I hope it's not a fourth story. I hope it's clarity.
All right. So main application to come back.
Okay, la temporal te la negaron, pero la permanente no, porque necesito claridad.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Garcia. Thank you. All right. Next is 376, 377, and 378 Elm Street Restaurant LLC.
376.
Yep, 376, 377, and 378.
Good morning. I'm
How are
Kevin.
you?
Thank God I can't complain. I'm Kevin Dano for the record, and with me is David Hilty, the owner. I'm here to ask you to accept the conditional plea offer. I'd like to just point out that the fire department, the police department, and the ambulance groups all do their social meetings at this place. It's not a place that is the center of police activity for negatively.
That, I guess, could be argued both ways. As you're fully aware, so I'm not explaining this to you because I know you know this, there is no restaurant/nightclub license that we give out. Doesn't exist.
I do know that, but at the time that this license was issued, Mr. Chairman, the application did have a restaurant nightclub box that was checked.
Well, that does not exist anymore.
But that's what the license that was issued is.
Well, it wasn't the license that was issued. It was the description of the premises, because the application at the time.
It was the method of operation.
The application at the time allowed for applicants to kind of mingle things together to describe their premises.
Well, this place has now become a problem under that scenario, besides the availing. So, which I disagree with you, it is an availing. I don't care whether he got profits or not. He identified himself as an owner. He was acting as an owner. He clearly was an owner because now they've made a corporate change.
Cool.
But the way this operates, and because of where it is, and it has to, it's going to operate as a restaurant from now on, or it's not going to operate.
That's just not fair, Mr. Chairman. This place has been a nightclub and restaurant for how many years?
30.
30 years. And
So this license was issued in 2010. So I don't know who had it before, but, and I've said this, and you've been here when I said this, I get more calls from the Hampton area in the summer about stuff like this going on that has to stop. I don't have the personnel or the resources to send teams out there every time these towns call me.
I understand that, but to be fair here, there's a couple of things that are going on here. That first of all, in this particular location, there is a rule set down by the mayor that anytime somebody makes a complaint, they issue a notice. They don't have to prove the complaint when the police come. The last time there was a man across the street who's complaining. He hasn't complained in a long time.
We investigated this. My investigators went out and saw this. They were there.
And since then, working with Michael, they've taken steps to cut down the sound. There's no outside. All the outside music is with earphones, so that they don't make any sound at all. The part of the reason that there was noise there at the time was because of the town had, in connection with COVID, shut down the streets so that when people left the establishment, they were outside waiting and talking. There were signs up that said, "Please don't do this," when you're outside. But that has gone away. The complaints have gone away. They're at the moment building another vestibule to make it quieter. They're doing everything they can to cooperate. You have letters there from neighbors right across the street.
But that's all fine, but when he turns this into a nightclub, you have approximately 300 people you're allowed to have in the place. The fire department goes there, there's 600.
And
Well, that's because it's a nightclub.
That's been taken care of. They no longer allow people in.
I got 2 charges here to tell me that it isn't.
What 2 charges? The ones that are pending? What do you? Well, first of all, those 2 charges are pending are not for.
They're both for maximum occupancy.
There are no charges pending for maximum occupancy.
6/23/2018.
You talking about the charges that
I got, no, the ones I got right here these are still pending. We haven't agreed to this. They're still pending.
Okay. I thought you were talking about.
No, I don't believe there is any more pending.
No,
But yeah, I mean, these charges go
I mean,
back to
aren't you more concerned with the availing? Like, isn't that?
No, they're fixing
more
the
of
availing.
problem?
They're gonna get fined for the availing, but I'm concerned about the operation.
How is it fixing the availing?
This guy's moving furniture around to open up a dance floor in a restaurant.
As I
And
said,
moving 600 people.
as I said, the application for the application was.
Well, that may be fine and good, but
No,
that
no,
was
but-
before
but-
we ended up here.
But these people are grandfathered into that method of
Yeah,
operation.
and they weren't operating properly. So
I
therefore,
did-
we can change that method of
I
operation.
disagree with you that they weren't.
You can take me to court, but I disagree that I can't do it. So my deal is, I'll take the 20,000 penalty, we'll allow the corporate change, but there's no DJ and there's no dancing. If he wants to come back in a year and get that back, then perhaps if we don't have a problem, we'll give it to him. And the doors close at 10 p.m., the windows.
Well, we close the windows, close the temp, we close the windows
Apparently, there's French doors there that are causing a great deal of aggravation to the surrounding community.
So you believe this? I mean, I don't believe this availing situation.
What do you mean? No, there was a veiling going on. I don't disagree with that. I agree.
I want to be completely straightforward here. There was an arrangement with another person. He's a licensed person, so it's not a question of trying to hide it, but it is a technical availing. I'm not saying it's not. Where a person was promised 10%, he didn't get the 10% in terms of there ever being any payment made to him, but he was promised 10%. And
For the
he never got any money, and the corporate papers were never put through, but he was promised 10%.
saying to people, yeah, I own this place, I came out to run this place, and he's apparently never made a dime of profit from that place?
That's true.
How to get paid?
That's not profit. He got a salary, but he didn't make any profit because the deal that they had was that he would only get a percentage of the profit when, as and if, all the money that was invested was paid back to Mr. Hilty, and it never has been. So he never got any part of the profits. But we're fixing that. It is
Investing more money?
Mr. Hilty was. All the money came from Mr. Hilty, the man behind me. But to see, this is, as I said, it's been there for over 30 years, operating as a nightclub. There's nothing new. It was operating as a nightclub when he bought it.
Well, what became new is that their police department called us and asked us to go out there. That's what became new.
Okay, so,
And
I'm saying to you that since that, working with Mr. Amaretto.
This is the Hamptons, and the last time we had to go was August of 2022. So since what, the winter?
No, all that they've been working to make it quieter and to deal with the situation, and they have been dealing with
And that's all fine and good, and I appreciate that, but now I'm going to do my job and make sure that it's quieter. For this year at least, and we'll see what happens. So, you can obviously go to hearing on it, and she obviously doesn't like the availing, neither do I.
No, it's just not believable.
Wow.
But I don't know what's in it for your client. Like, it was.
Listen, here's the most important thing with regard to the availing. The man that has the 10% has his own licenses. There is no reason to hide him from the liquor authority, which is because they did not believe that they had the papers, it was a verbal agreement. The papers weren't put through. They didn't think that he was really on the license, needed to be on the license at the time. They're wrong. But we're fixing it. But what I'm saying to you, that the idea of availing, I'm not saying it's not wrong, because it is. But the idea of availing is to make sure that the liquor authority, that there's nobody profiting from a liquor license, that the liquor authority doesn't approve as a human being.
I get it.
And he's not that kind of person.
I understand, and maybe your client did it so that he retained control, but that's not.
It's 10%. He has 90%. It's not a question, but
It's a little bit uphill battle to tell me that this guy's been involved in this business since 2010 and that he hasn't made his 10%, it's a little uphill.
Well, because that's not, because there's a large investment in the business, and he doesn't get his 10% until the money has been returned. And that's a very normal kind of investment scheme, where you say that the person who puts up the money gets all his money back before you start to split. That's a very or normal investment scheme.
I work on Broadway, I know.
I know you do. But to have a place that's a nightclub, I mean, work with me a little bit here.
I can't.
You-
He's shutting down the restaurant at 10 o'clock, moving the furniture around.
We'll keep the restaurant-
All of a sudden, it's $60 now to get in.
We'll keep the restaurant open all night.
No, this became a cash cow and it got out of hand. So we're gonna draw it back a little bit for a summer.
That's not a little bit.
Well, it is because of what went on.
It's not a little bit. You're dealing with.
I think it's commensurate with what went on. It's a restaurant. They can have background recorded music. They can still have their people out on the lawn doing whatever they do with the headphones, but it's going to operate as a restaurant, at least for this summer. Unless you go to hearing, obviously.
So on the offer, you're denying the offer, but you're counter offering
20,000, no DJ, no dancing, clearly no moving of furniture.
I need some time to consider this. Is that all right?
And then the doors are shut at the whatever.
You're not talking about the doors being shut, you're talking the French doors.
French doors are shut at 10 o'clock.
Commissioner Fan? I don't know I frankly don't know what happens if you don't agree.
Or you go back to council's office.
What?
Then you have a hearing.
Then you go back to council's office and
Well, I want to hear what Commissioner Fan says.
deal with it.
What were the original method of operation? What were the conditions on the actual license?
So according to the data screen, I'd have to go back further to find the actual application, but we've got it listed as a restaurant with a licensed porch and lawn. As far as the details about entertainment and stuff, I'd have to go back a little further.
Ted, the application said dancing and DJ is a method of operation, and there was a box that said restaurant nightclub. I'm not sure that any of this matters, considering.
But we don't have.
No,
So it was put in as a restaurant, with also with the nightclub activity.
You'll give me some time to consider the counteroffer, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
But Commissioner
You're
Fan
gonna get
hasn't
a
made her
letter.
decision yet. Have you made? Did you?
No, she didn't decide yet, though.
Can I talk to you guys?
All right, we're going to go on a brief recess to conference with council. We'll be back on the record shortly.
So,
We're back on the record after a conference.
so I'm gonna go with chairman. He said recorded music only.
I'll go to midnight. I didn't change the hour.
You said 10 o'clock close
No,
of the doors.
Oh, the window. Oh, the windows, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
12 a.m.?
You said they could continue to use the silent music on the patio.
Yeah.
So 20,000, no dancing, French doors shut by 12 a.m., recorded music only. Do you want no moving of furniture
Yeah.
included in it?
Yeah.
Or anything else included?
No.
Okay.
The doors at 12, she said.
Doors by midnight. All right.
No DJ.
Recorded music only, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah. Recorded background music, no DJ, just so it's clear.
Correct.
Okay.
And you'll get a letter, so obviously.
I understand. Well, thank you for your time.
Take care.
All right. Next is 359, FULGUMS Rest and Bar Corp.
Morning, Martin Mailer, mailed me something.
You need more, how much more time?
That's why the owner is here. I just asked him.
I'm willing to give the time. Obviously, if I wanted to shut the place, I would have shut it.
No, I
So
realize.
How long is it gonna take?
How long would it take to get you straightened out?
According to the attorney in Albany, 4 to 6 weeks.
All right, we'll give it 2 months.
2 months,
That's not what the
okay?
Thank you.
Get it done.
Thank you so much.
Wait,
All right,
one
take care.
second.
Okay, thank you.
All right, nice to meet you.
Hold- hold-
One second. We haven't actually held it over yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's not
take
what,
the
that's
date.
not what the attorney's letter said. He said a couple of weeks.
Well, he said 30 days.
All right.
Well,
The last letter in the supplemental?
426.
That's 426. But if he shows up again and it's like, I need
No,
2
that's
more
what I
weeks.
said. Give them 2 months.
And
Let's
let me
give
look
them
at
May
the
24.
May 24th. You think that'll be?
Yes, it will. Yes, thank you.
May 24.
Please get it done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is that new? Is that?
He actually signed in before you, so you're
No,
not.
no, I know, but I'm not next, right?
No, yeah.
What is that? Oh, is that the party zone? They already sold tickets.
Next is 392, ZHENG Liquor and Wine Inc. 392.
I may not have signed in, but my client said, my client is standing next to me, Martin
I'm gonna
Mailer.
vote to approve.
I'll vote to approve as well.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Thanks
day.
for coming.
Thank you.
395, Global Wine Market Inc.
Morning, Robert Swetnick for the applicant. Albert Chen is with me.
95.
5 or 2?
300.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Who's your client?
Albert Chen,
Okay.
who's with me. I think there's opposition on this.
Okay. Is there opposition?
Yes, sir.
All right, come on.
Guess I'll go first. Hello, board. My name is Sean Kim.
Can you just move your head closer to the microphone?
My name is Sean Kim. I'm representing 58 Wine and Liquor, 120 West 58 Wine and Liquor Inc. on 58th Street between 6th and 7th.
58th Street?
Yes.
Okay.
I was not notified about a new liquor store opening until
Yeah,
I
because
was.
you're not the closest 5 or 6 or 7.
So
I'm actually
How far is your store from this location?
a block and a half. I'm basically on the south, like very
58th and what?
between 6th and 7th, closer to 6th Avenue. I'm literally like 20 steps to Central Park.
What's your address?
120 West 58th Street.
Yeah, you're on this list.
I didn't get.
You didn't get the letter?
I didn't get the letter.
But you sent us numbers.
I did send you numbers because I was notified by the other stores.
Oh,
So
okay.
I sent it right away.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes.
Are you sure we have, how do we send these out? Email?
Last time I got an email for the one on 54th Street that was coming out.
All right,
but-
well, after this is done, at some point in the near future, call and make sure we have your right email.
Sure. No, well, you guys responded by email.
Oh, all right, so
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
it now.
you have
Okay,
it, yeah,
then
yeah,
you must have
definitely.
done something.
make sure that you have us update the email in the system. We responded to your email. That doesn't mean we took your email.
Okay.
And put it into the file.
Okay, very good, yeah.
But you're here today, so go ahead.
Okay, so first, I was reading their application and it said that their main competition was to replace Sherry Lee Mix.
Looks like we have Punjabi interpreter we've been waiting for
All right,
the
we'll-
gentleman.
we'll
Can
finish this.
Want to finish them, go through all of it?
Yeah, they're all ready to go.
Ms. Guprit, right? The interpreter, yes. If you could please mute yourself, we'll get to you shortly. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay.
Okay, let me bring this up.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about my store first. So my store has been around for the last, like, 2009 we opened. During COVID, sales has been going down since 2022. Like 2021, I had a very good year, but 2022, it went down almost like 30%. And as a beginning of 2023, I've never seen anything like this. Talking to all my friends who own liquor stores within the Midtown area, how slow it's been, right? In January, I usually gross around 200,000. I only grossed 140,000. In February, which I do about 160,000, I grossed only 117,000. And if you look at all the stuff that I order from big distributors like Southern or Empire, Southern right now, year to date, I am down 12%. For Empire, I am down 35%. All these other distributors, I'm down because business is not here. Talking to all the offices and all that stuff when I go on deliveries, offices that hold 200 people have 5 people in the office. They work on work days of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday to Thursday, Friday off, Monday off, Friday off. They work Wednesday to Thursday. Residential, all the people who work in those offices no longer have to live in the city. They moved out because they're working from home and they just have to commute to the city 3 days or 2 days a week. Do I see this increasing around the neighborhood? There's probably about like 15 proximity liquor stores that are open right now as we speak. This one, there's going to be now 3. If you open this one, there'll be 3 liquor stores on one block within a 2.5 block radius. Right, 6th Avenue, 58th Street, 6th Avenue, 7th Avenue, 58th Street. Then you have one right across the street from the Apple store. As I also been reading the application, this store is supposed to be around 3,500 to 4,000 square feet. They're saying they're putting 50,000 in renovations and 500,000 in all the miscellaneous. There's no way in hell you could use $50,000 to renovate a 3,500 square foot brand new liquor store that will operate as a high-end liquor store. We all saw all the high-end. We all saw high-end liquor. Only way you could get any kind of high-end liquor, you need to be established. As the SLA rules, you need to get anything like a Pappy Van Winkle or anything like very, very allocated. You need to be established. You need to have the records of you buying product from the distributor. This will take at least 2 years to establish. Other than that, I mean, Sherry Lehman, they're going after Sherry Lehman. Sherry Lehman has a lot of financial problems, as we know, that they are closed right now. They are basically an online store, right? They close at 6 o'clock. They open 6 days a week, I believe. And if this store wants to replicate Sherry Lehman, it states that they will not be doing any online or any kind of online sales or anything like that. How are you going to survive on a big space like that? I don't know what the rent's going to be, but I assume it's going to be anywhere from 50 to 100,000. That's going to be very impossible to operate if you don't have any online presence. All these stores that are here protesting have an online presence, have the high-end, have been established. So
Are you
that's
getting
why.
any residential delivery business?
Yes, yes. So my block, there's the whole block is residential on 58th Street between 6th and 7th. You have right on the corner, you have New York Hyatt, but then you also have the Essex House. Essex House is considered as residential and hotel as of the New York Hyatt.
Right.
Then across
So
the
you
street.
get some business from those
Yes,
people?
yes. So we get some business, but very little, right? Because also on 58th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue, there's two huge residential, like 57 West 57 is a residential, 58 West 57 is a residential, but across the street, the one hotel. That's also it's strictly a hotel.
You were already facing the park.
No,
You're not facing the park.
I'm not facing the park. I'm 1 block away
You're
from
one
the park.
block away.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
What'd you say?
No, you asked me a question.
No, he asked you.
Oh,
That's my right.
You were asking about the gross sales figures? So those numbers included at their old location. They moved here in.
Oh, to remove.
Yeah,
Okay, go
so
ahead,
they,
sir.
yeah, they
Hello.
were close by. They were in need.
I'm here on behalf of Schumer Wines from Larry. He couldn't make it. His manager was sick, so I just had to come. So basically, same thing. His numbers are declining rapidly. He's 27% low from last 2 years, 3 years. Also, this store, usually SLA always look for a public convenience and advantage when approving or denying a location, and there is no public convenience and advantage if this store is approved. Major points SLA look into the sales of the closest stores, which are already on a decline for everyone, at least most of them. And there is no growth in the population in the zip code or even nearby zip codes. No grocery store or any big convenience store next to this location, which will make it convenient for the consumer. Again, as Sean said, there's a huge selection of New York State, organic, natural, old world, new world, small batch, single better, rare wines, rare whiskeys, and the list goes on. All these things are being served in the area. All these stores are carrying this stuff. This is a location where we do have the high-end stuff. We have to meet all the requirements. Everybody is doing what they have. So they will not bring anything new to the table. We also give education to our customers, periodically do meet and greet with the wine and whiskey makers and do events at the stores where customers have an experience when they shop with us. The new applicant will not be serving the community in any different or a better way. As a matter of fact, I don't think they will have they will be able to do any of this since they would not have any online presence also. And last thing to leave with you is that not so long ago, you approved Central Park Wine and Spirits to move to a bigger location among us. We are already struggling from the pandemic and they moved next door to a bigger location, which made a huge difference in our sales also. To allow huge store to open among us, it will not bring any convenience or advantage to the public. It will just hurt even us more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just tell me the name of your store again?
From Schumer Wines, Larry Duke. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I am the owner of 55th Street Wine and Spirits. I think we have sent you our numbers, and the location we are at is between 5th and 6th Avenue, and it is an office. There are offices, but hybrid at the moment. People are just coming 2 or 3 days. Residents have moved out. There are 8 liquor stores in our radius, in a 4 or 5 block radius. Having another store will deeply affect the employees, online presence. Employees depend on us for their livelihood. And if I have to cut hours of my employees because the business is not the same, it's not going to help. So just want to reiterate everything Sean and Schumers have also said, and please help us grow and not affect our business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. Morning. My name is Rahul Bhasin. I'm the owner of Central Park Wines and Spirits, located on corner of 58th Street, between 6th and 5th. If I step out of my store, I can see the proposed location.
Corner of what?
I'm on 58th Street.
58th
Street. If I step out of my store, I can see the proposed location. They're going after, Sherry Lehman's, but I'm not sure what's the status of Sherry Lehman. Sherry Lehman has not closed yet. I'm not sure. That's not for me to speculate. But we serve the community and the residents and the visitors, you know, with our online presence, with our retail locations. We carry every basic things, and on top of it, if there's any allocated or my sales have gone up a bit because I moved from
Did you just buy the store?
No, we just moved the store.
You just moved?
Moved from a smaller store to the bigger store. And our sales, yes, increased a little bit, but of course the expenses go up as well. But another store surrounded with all the other stores that are in the neighborhood will negatively impact all of us. Thank you.
What year did you move?
We moved in 2021. Yeah, I think around September, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know, they did significantly better, so I'm just trying to figure out what the trick is.
Before you get started, I know some of your argument
Optics, yeah.
was that you were filling the void by Sherry Lehman.
I wouldn't say we're filling a void. You pointed out that Sherry Lehman's hours.
No, that, in your submission, you said you're filling the void. There's not, they're going to be renewed, so they're going to be back operating again.
They're going to be
renewed. They're going to be.
The reason they're closed is because the renewal expired. They didn't renew in time.
Right, but
we're being, the renewal is now in, it's being reviewed.
But they are still closing at 6 p.m. and are only open 5 days a week.
I think that they were always that, correct?
No.
Oh, that's what he just said, that they were an online store. Didn't you just tell us they always closed at 6?
No,
No.
when they're operational, they close like at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, now they
It's
do.
always been at 6 though,
Yeah,
right?
it's always been at 6, yes.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Swednick. That's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, we think that there is a great deal of convenience for the community to have a liquor store in the area that's going to be open 7 days a week, to have a liquor store that's going to be open in the evening, to have a liquor store that's east of 6th Avenue and east of 5th Avenue, where you have the major hotels, such as, you know, the Sherry Netherlands, the Pierre, all the hotels along there. It's very convenient for them. And he is going for, I'll say, a high-end liquor store to appeal to the community that is part of the Sherry Lehman group. That is the people coming into the hotels that is looking for the specialty wines that they can't get, that want to do that shopping. So he's going to have extended hours for the community. He's going to have 7 days a week, which is not offered in that area. And these other stores, you know, again, while they may be close, you're still talking about 5 or 6 blocks away. And it's 5 or 6 blocks away, especially for people from out of town. They don't really want to walk that far to get a bottle of wine to bring back to their hotel, to shop for wine, ship, etc. Sherry Lehman is the other closest store. And again, they were doing last year 42 million, according to the newspapers. So it's not like another store is definitely going to make a big difference. And they admit that they do most of their sales over the phone. So they're not getting the consumers walking in, partly because of the treatment, partly because of the shelves. And you have pictures of that and stories about it. Sherry Lehman is going in a different direction if it decides to stay open. And even though the fact that they renew doesn't mean they're not going to relocate. They've already closed their warehouse. So I don't know what their future is or isn't. But I think another store, even one that's, and it's not that close to them, is not going to make a great deal of difference to the Sherry Lehman business. They will admit that themselves from what they've said publicly. We think there is a great assistance to the community. There is a need. You have a store, the gentleman who just spoke, but he's doing sales in excess of $4 million a year. So it's not as if you're going to have a great impact upon these stores where they are in the risk of closing, losing business hours, et cetera. Again, the location is not taking from the 6th Avenue stores. It's going to be taking from the Sherry Lehman and going east. And we believe that he's a well qualified applicant. He's made a.
Does he work at his wife's store?
No, well, he goes there. He doesn't work. He doesn't get paid. He's learned the business there, so to speak, since he's had it. But I mean, he does go there, and that's why he got interested and thought it was a good business and wants his own store. But he's never worked there. He's had his own business, a food business, which he's got good management and he's very able to turn that over
Why
to
didn't
them.
he disclose that he had 3 licenses and had 3 old licenses until we asked?
That is, well, the fault of my office, because when my secretary, my assistant interviewed him, and she basically said, do you have licenses? He speaks Korean and his English is somewhat limited. I don't know exactly who said which word. He interpreted it one way, and she might have asked it wrong. But it was based on the information that he gave. 2 of the licenses were closed, and one of them he didn't even recall because it was basically a grocery store that he has an investment in. He doesn't really go to it or operate it.
Members ready to vote?
Yeah, I'm sure you're a qualified candidate. I just don't think this is the right location. All the stores are showing significantly decreasing sales. In the event that Sherry Lehman moves, maybe you can ask for reconsideration at that point. Just keep this, we'll reconsider it.
Well, the problem is at that point, we're not going to have the space.
I know. I'm going to vote to deny.
I'm going to vote to deny as well. There's 6 stores within 0.3 miles. 1 store just moved into the area in 2021, a little bit closer. He obviously made a good move because his sales increased, but everybody else's sales are pretty flat in the area. Sherry Lehman is obviously having financial difficulties, as you pointed out. The press has pointed out, but they are still open and operating. They clearly focus on very high-end and hard-to-get wines and most of their sales, I think, occur through the internet, but they are still in existence. As Tom pointed out, they are renewing, and I just don't see the need for another store in this close proximity at this point.
Okay, thank you.
So we now have a Punjabi interpreter, Ms. Gurpreet, who's fortunately WebEx for us. So I'm calling 388 Seatown Food Mart East. The applicant has been patiently waiting in Albany.
That says everybody here.
Good morning, members. My name is Harvinder Singh from Seatown Food Mart. I will be continuing in English. If I do not understand something, I will ask from the interpreter.
Okay. Can the interpreter put her name on the record, please?
I'm here. My name is Gurpreet Kent.
So, Ms. Kent, he has indicated to us that he understands English and would like to proceed in English, except if he doesn't understand, he'll ask you to explain it to him?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you live, sir, currently?
31 Woodland Ave, Binghamton, New York, 13903.
Woodland Ave.
Like all over the place. Did he do his previous applications himself?
Yes, I did.
So this got denied and I reconned it?
Yes, and he did not ask for reconsideration of the other one that got denied.
Why?
The other is a package store.
I don't know.
Oh, that's a package store, okay.
Let's see here.
So can you just explain, why did you ask for reconsideration for this application?
I'm getting a temporary permit since October 2021. So till now, like now I got the email for board meeting, and I'm working 16 hours per day. Like I'm really too much hard working there. So without beer license, I have only 10 to 20% customers in the store. So it is very important for me. Just help me out, please.
He had a representative on all three applications.
So are you aware why both of your liquor store application and your grocery store application were denied? Are you aware why they were denied?
No, I don't know.
Well, you had you had two applications that we asked pretty much the same information on both. Yet you gave us different information on both, such as where you lived and when, where you worked and when. They were contradictory.
That was my bad. Actually, I'm not good in typing. My wife helped me to print out the papers, and I did submit. Like, I live 518 Grand Ave from June 23rd till 2013 to 2018 of the, I think, August 2018. 5 years I stayed there. Then I moved to 162 Prospect Ave.
Okay, so I don't think you're understanding.
No, he is. He's now giving us his.
Well, now
you're living at 31 Woodland Avenue.
Yes, this is my permanent address now.
So
we
what
moved there
happened?
from.
What happened to the liquor store?
I don't have no liquor store though. Like I applied previously. The guy whom I rent, I talked to him like if I approve for the license, then only I will pay him the rent. So while I was doing that, I opened up the convenience store. So right now, soon as I denied that license, I'm not doing nothing there. So I'm just working on now.
And you've been operating with a temp at your grocery store.
Only that one, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna vote to approve.
All right, I'll vote to approve too. Just make sure if you apply for something else, double check everything you put on the application, particularly your employment and your residence.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for waiting.
You've been approved.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And
Thanks
thank
for
you
your
for being
time.
patient. Thank you for being patient.
Thank you for your time.
And thank you, Ms. Whitaker, for jumping on just in case.
Great work.
Thank you.
Was there somebody else down here you needed?
Have a good day. You can sign off.
I can sign off?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Did you get paid?
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Second language.
I know.
I should be doing that instead.
Next is 407, the Cottage Tavern Inc.
What number?
407.
My name is Sam Park, representative. Is the owner for
Good
second.
morning, members. My name is Segundo Lima, owner.
This is actually second application.
What are his hours?
We open 11:30 until 12 o'clock Monday to Thursday, and then weekends we open until 2 in the morning. The bar.
You have a temp or no temp?
Yes, we do.
We do have temporary.
Yes.
They do have a temp?
Yeah.
It says
Yes.
I got operating without booze, huh?
No. That was, they should not have the temp, okay? But they have a temp. On the first application, he was conditionally approved. They didn't have a temp, but he started selling.
So in our infinite wisdom, we then gave him a temp? How's that work?
It was an error.
Just stop.
It was an
All
error.
right, go ahead.
Kind of music, recorded music only?
Recording music and then
Yes, we have only 2 packs actually.
jukebox and
Right.
recording music.
Okay, so I'm going to vote to approve recorded music only, no private events, no promoters, midnight Sunday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 a.m.
I'll do the same with the same conditions. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, members.
Next is 421A, Taste Wine LLC.
I got 3 minutes to still say good morning. Martin Mailer of Mailer Buscemi. This has been before you, not directly, but indirectly, when there was a protest made for another store coming into the area. I put it all in writing as to the trials and tribulations of my client.
They have a location now?
They had a location. What happened was an application for removal was put in. It was denied pursuant to 589 because of this pending charge. I desperately tried to get a result from the disciplinary. I've now taken over the disciplinary. Fortunately, that came out. You have the ALJ's report. I'm not arguing with the factual presentation made by the ALJ. I would just ask that you understand the unique and
So
rather
you're going to reactivate the removal
I will do it if you say.
because they still have the premise that they're removing.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Well, because I'm starting it, this isn't directed at your client, but I'm starting to get reports from people in your business that some of these licenses that are in safekeeping on the liquor store side, the package store side, are being used to eliminate the possibility of another store going into to an area. So they're keeping it in safekeeping and being paid to keep it in safekeeping. If that, I'm not directing it at your client.
No.
If I find out that that happens, the license will be gone.
I don't blame you. This has, no, one of my exhibits shows that you denied it for 589.
All right, so we're ready, Don.
All right, so do you ALJ sustain the charge? If the members are ready to vote?
I'm just going to give them letter of warning.
All right, letter of warning.
Thank you.
Have a removal application. Can we just reactivate it, reconsideration or removal application? Grant reconsideration right here?
If that's what you're gonna do.
Well, you 589'd it, right? So you denied it based on this.
I without looking at it, I don't know if that's.
Yes, I'm going to grant reconsideration to the removal application.
I really appreciate it on behalf of my client.
What,
Thank
what
you.
about the status of this license right now?
It's in safekeeping and stays there until the removal.
They finish, they come to the, well, do they have to come here? Are you granting the actual removal? Or
But
you
grant
can't
the
grant?
recon,
You're just
return the
allowing the recon of the,
Right.
so then it will be heard next time.
No, it won't be ready.
Well, they have to do the paperwork.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
not ready yet, but whenever it's ready, it has to come here.
So I just want to get, you're gonna allow this to stay in safekeeping until such time as there's a decision on the removal application?
Yes.
How long is that going to take?
I
Hours.
don't know.
Hours? From your lips to God's ears.
Well, what is I'm saying? It's, we pulled it up.
Well, I don't think it's fair to other applicants who are
Well,
waiting.
with all due respect, it's been on file since, I believe, last September. I believe. I
I
don't
think
know.
this is a different situation in this scenario. Do you agree with that?
Well, yeah, but you can't pull it up today.
No, not today, but
Yeah, so,
you know.
all right, thank you. We'll get it
Thank
done
you.
as quick as we can.
I really, thank you. Thank you very much.
Next is 400 GV Cafe NY Inc.
As I was perusing your agenda, I noticed this was on, and I immediately called Ms. Marsico, who's the attorney of record, and I said, "What's going on?" On February, I gave you a not guilty plea and a demand for a bill of particulars, and she
Yeah,
wrote.
she acknowledged that. So this is going back to council's office.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Next is 389 Ruby's West Village LLC.
Okay. On this one, I think it's good to take just 2 minutes.
All right. Yeah, we're going to go off the record for a brief recess. We'll be back shortly. Back on the record after a brief recess. Again, next item is 389 Ruby's West Village LLC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Fan, Donald Bernstein from Bernstein, Radon, and Savitsky on behalf of the applicant. With me is Timothy Sykes and Thomas Lim, who are two of the three principals. Mr. Sykes and Mr. Lim together own 75% of the applicant and are its managing members and will control the day-to-day operations of the business. This is a space in a three-story building.
Are you
that-
opposition, Mr. Booth? We do have opposition here. if you
So
wanna-
since we've done this before, what was the determination last time?
The only thing we appeared before you on was a request for a declaratory ruling that the space was grandfathered under the 500-foot law.
Okay.
Because
And
it was.
we allowed it, and then,
Yes,
but we didn't decide anything.
right. There was
Okay.
no decision on the merits of the
I understand.
application.
I understand now. Okay.
So why don't we let them go?
All right.
You want to let them go first? Sure.
Hi, I'm Carter Booth. I'm here on behalf of Community Board 2. This item actually hasn't been before you before, only the location, request for location. That was made extensively clear by Chairman Bradley and also by yourself when the item has not been before you before, the location has. You made it very clear that you didn't have any application before you, and there was extensive dialogue at that
Yes.
time.
Yes.
So this is an important, large, iconic location, and like the residents immediately impacted by the issuance of a license here, we would like to see the location filled, just not by these applicants for the reasons outlined. The location has been a restaurant for a while, but it hasn't always been a restaurant, and it's been vacant for over half a decade at this point. The owner of the building and previous operator of the last restaurant here apparently closed in 2017 as a result of significant structural issues, according to previous testimony before the authority. The location has the potential for a significant number of outdoor seats, and the impact of that seating on quality of life, noise, and other issues, and what the layout and location of the seats might be is not yet clear. As you guys know, as the city has not yet voted on or even provided the details of what the outdoor dining program might look like. It's not even clear if the applicant will be able to operate in the portion that you see on the diagram that's marked as an entrance, as that's an unlicensed enclosed sidewalk cafe, and all indications are that that space lost its privileges as an enclosed sidewalk cafe because the license and fees for the use of the city sidewalk in that space lapsed in 2017, and the owner was supposed to remove that structure at that time. As you can see from Community Board 2's resolution, the board believes that these applicants should not be the operator at this location, which is consistent with both the authority rule 48.2 regarding the conduct of licensed premises and rule 48.7 regarding personal qualifications. CB2 is familiar with both Mr. Mathers as a principal of several locations in CB2 and Mr. Sykes as a manager of several licenses in CB2, as we outlined in the resolution as well. The authority also has the extensive disciplinary at the various locations owned and managed by Mr. Mathers and Mr. Sykes, including a matter before the authority today, as well as there's a recent DOB violation just issued on February 16th of this year. I'm more than happy to address further issues, but I think these are the key issues that should be disposed of first before discussing further details of the application. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, good morning or good afternoon now, thank you. My name is Leslie Clark. I live across the street from this location, and that location is 225 West 4th Street. I live at 233 West 4th Street. I am active in my community affairs in my neighborhood through my West Village Residents Association and my Tenants Association. When I learned of the application for this space, I used the SLA FOIL process to look up the history of Mr. Mathers, and the result was appalling. Mr. Mathers, up to that point, which is now a year and a half ago, at that point, had $75,000 in fines for violations at his 6 other locations in Manhattan. Today, you'll be hearing another one for another $10,000 for one of his locations in New York. These violations run from everything from running an illegal club in a basement to availing to having his life, many fire safety violations. At one point during COVID, he had his license suspended at one of his locations. And from the point of view of the neighbors, the most troubling in this long list of violations are the violations for failure to closely supervise the premises, failure to follow stipulations, failure to follow the conditions and terms of his license. This has happened repeatedly in locations, Mr. Mathers, and in locations where Mr. Lim and Mr. Sykes are also managers. So they are also part of a business practice that has gone on and on. And in fact, you would note that the number of violations increases with the age of the location. So the oldest location is on Orchard Street, and it has the longest list of violations. It just goes on and on. Dudley's 2 Bites. In this application, Mr. Mathers claims to be a minority owner with little to do with the day-to-day operation of the Ruby's chain, yet he owns the name. This is his company. And also in the application, if you look at his investment, is close to 50% of the financial commitment. It's hard to imagine that he is a minority owner.
Wait, but they just said that now the two guys sitting back there own 75%.
They are
said that, right?
That's not what the money on that application shows. That's not what the investment on the application shows.
Okay, but they're putting in the sweat equity, so.
I'm saying that they are, what I'm saying is that they are as deeply involved in the business practices and history of Mr. Mathers as Mr. Mathers himself.
I understand, but so you're concerned about, the person who owns the brand. Are you okay with it if it's just the two of them without the brand?
No, I'm not, because they are part of the history of violations at many locations in Manhattan. It is not just Mr. Mathers, it is these two men who have also been managers at these locations where they have had fines, including the one that will be heard today.
Okay.
So yes, that is an issue for me.
I understand.
I'd also just like to add that we all miss the old Riviera. It was a great place. It was part of our neighborhood. Given the history of their conduct, they are hardly going to fill this location. We'd love to see it replaced, but not with them. I hope you will agree with Community Board 2's recommendation, and I will hope you will agree with the administrative law judge and find that this application is not in the public interest and deny this application. Thank you.
Go ahead. Hello, my name is Nancy Paisley. I live in the neighborhood of this location, and I'm also representing the West Village Residents Association.
What's your address?
Excuse me?
What's your address?
36 Barrow Street, a few short blocks away.
Okay.
And I'm also appearing in opposition to this application. As Ms. Clark has outlined for you, all three of the principals have been involved in multiple violations at half a dozen other locations in Manhattan, including a summary license suspension on Orchard Street and major fines on Mulberry Street and on a location only 1 block away now called the Happiest Hour. These violations include operating under parts of the premises that were not licensed, availing, ignoring fire codes, ignoring other rules, ignoring the terms of their licenses. It seems to these folks, and I extend it to all three of them, that the terms of the license and the terms of the law are to be liberally interpreted. The sworn stipulations that they sign are only suggestions. We are greatly concerned that these premises, like all of the others, will become a major public nuisance to the residents. The Community Board 2 stated
and I'm going to quote from their recommendation, "The history and magnitude of the applicant's past conduct is sufficiently documented, its transgressions being sufficiently comprehensive and intentional, showing a total disregard to the health, well-being, and safety of those in our community and their customers." You will not be surprised, the Community Board 2 recommended denial. And your hearing officer, after hearing testimony pro and con this application, has stated that the applicant has not met the statutory burden of showing that granting this application will be in the public interest. I urge you to follow the recommendation of your hearing officer and deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Bai. I'm representing 233 West 4th Street, the Tenants Association. Of course, we're right across the street from the Riviera. I mean, what would become Ruby's. And we're very concerned from things that you already heard. And also the administrative.
Sorry, 233 West 4th Street?
233 West 4th.
So same building? as
Yes, same
this car?
building.
And how many tenants in your building?
8.
Eight units, so
Eight
tenants.
units.
8 units.
Sometimes 9. So the thing is that also the administrative law judge in his 500-foot report hearing, you know, he didn't believe that he concluded that the applicant has not met the statutory burden of demonstrating that the public convenience and advantage and the public interest will be served by the granting of this application. And he based, you know, his findings on very much what the community board has already experienced from this applicant many, many years already. And it's also concerning that the two partners who you know, that will be in charge, they've never had a license, neither one of them. And that's concerning. This is a very iconic space. I don't know if you know it. It's kind of anchored in Sheridan Square. It's right in the heart. And it's a very big space. It's actually equivalent to the size of a basketball court. And it's very concerning because at one point, the community board, they said they were going to have, you know, like seating for 70 people. And now they've taken away they're going to have they were going to have seating for 110 people. Now they say they're going to have seating for 70 people, and now also the capacity has gone up. So it's really kind of seemed like it might be a club evolving because there won't be a lot of places if they have a capacity of 178 people in there. It's just very concerning. They also say they're not going to have a security guard. But the bottom line is this is not the right applicant for this iconic historic location that anchors Sheridan Square. And we're very concerned what's going to happen because we are overloaded. You know, we're saturated with you know, with liquor licenses all over the place. And we understand that this needs to be, we will have a liquor license at some point. This is not the applicants for it. They don't have the experience. And the experience that the community board has with this organization has been very bad. I mean, we're talking over $80,000 in fines, and we're just going to wait for more fines to come across the street. And, you know, there's a few of us that work very hard and really get in touch, you know, make complaints. And it's just going to be more work for us to get this under control because they show they can't keep their places under control. So I really think you should deny this application. I really appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Kathy Ornson. I'm the president of the Central Village Block Association, and I oppose this application. The CVBA is committed to ensuring that residents, restaurants, and other businesses live and work together with respect and harmony. We have an overabundance of restaurants and bars in the Central and West Village. And this corridor along 7th Avenue, where Ruby's Cafe is located, is especially overpopulated with this type of activity. And unless strict guidelines are adhered to, it can become a nightmare to residents. 225 West 4th Street is surrounded by residential buildings, and there is a need here for a tenant who will respect neighbors and their quality of life. As you've already heard, the applicant has not demonstrated any concern for the communities where his 6 other restaurants are located. He has a long record of SLA violations and fines and a disregard for the fact that people actually live above, across, and around his establishments. It is disturbing, too, that this applicant totally ignores stipulations that serve to foster good relations.
Wait, is there someone who live above this?
I'm speaking generally of all the restaurants involved.
Oh, okay.
Good
There is
relations between.
residential above?
Okay.
Yeah.
229 and 231 West 4th Street has, but it's attached, 229, 231, and this space runs underneath because it's huge.
Yep, I understand.
This application is not in the public interest, and I ask you to deny it. Thank you.
Thank you. So a number of points to address. At the outset, I just want to say that, as even Mr. Booth recognized, the community knows that the space is going to be filled as a restaurant, and they want it filled. So neither the community board nor the residents had any operational issues. This is a restaurant. The closing is at midnight during the week. We'd like 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. If that's an issue, we can discuss that. It's background recorded music only, no live music, no DJs, no dancing, no promoters, nothing that would create any issue.
Do you have any support from the people that live in the building that's attached to your restaurant?
I don't know if they're in the building. We have 270 letters in support that we attached. I don't know if any of them are in the building.
It killed my printer, made me
Yep, I'm
really
sorry about
dramatic
that.
week for me.
I'm sorry about that, but we got it. So
And that's all fine and good, but the issue remains.
Yes, that's what I'm here to.
75,000 in fines.
Let me address that. I just wanted to get.
You can get all the support letters you want, but the reality is that they have not been behaving.
Well, let me address that because that has to be clarified. The point I was trying to make at the outset is just that the 500-foot law, that general considerations are not problematic. The issue here is Mr. Mather, is Nicholas Mather. That is the problem and that is the issue. Now, Mr. Lim
Well, it's Mr. Mathers, it's also the name of the place.
Yeah, and he's chosen not to come, so I'm not even really sure if we can move forward. Like, it seems like all the problems are with him.
Well, let me address them if I may. Let me try to address them.
Why isn't he here?
First of all, he lives in California.
I don't care. The bottom
He
line
had-
is he didn't show up for them, and you knew you were gonna have problems with that. I mean, you that's why you wanted the 500-foot thing grandfathered in, because it was obvious there was gonna be issues. He still doesn't show up for the community board, which makes no sense because you've been here long enough and doing this much longer than me. You knew they were going to be opposed to this if he doesn't show up. And now he's not here today.
Let me explain. If you give me an opportunity to just set out what's going on here and explain. First of all, as we stated in our papers and as you acknowledged, he only has 25% interest in this entity. I have reviewed the LLC operating agreement. I asked their corporate attorney to send me a copy. He sent me a draft. It was not signed. But Mr. Sykes and Mr. Lim are the only managing members of the LLC. Mr. Mather is not a managing member.
And why
He has
he gotta
no.
be a member at all?
So why don't you just change the name of it? I mean, you guys are actually going.
He is-
You guys are having more problems being with this guy than not.
I think that the reason,
The
in part,
proceeds
is
is
financing. Is he
his
is
life.
investing.
Paying
He's
for it.
investing. He is the. So again, let me just try to finish and explain.
Can we just stop at that one point? You're saying that they are the managing members.
Yes. Yes. Now, Mr.
That's not what your application says. Your application lists them all as LLC members.
Yes.
Well, which is it?
They are all LLC members. I just saw this operating agreement that was
Okay,
just
but what I'm
drafted.
saying, your application doesn't distinguish them as LLC managing members.
I
It says
understand.
they are just members along with the other gentleman.
I'm telling you now that they are the two managing members.
So why haven't you amended the application?
I can amend it.
What?
I can amend it. It has
No,
not.
what haven't you?
Well, I mean, that to me is irrelevant because you call them managing members, not managing members. The bottom line is we know where the money's coming from.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they can be listed as managing members, but if they know where the money comes, I know where the money comes from. At the end of the day, he's going to they're either going to listen to him or not listen to him, whatever the case may be. And if he doesn't like the way they're listening to him, he's going
No.
to leave and take his money with him.
No, Mr. Mather lives in California. He has restaurants out west in Las Vegas, I think in Scottsdale, in Los Angeles. He has those businesses there. He does have businesses here. These two guys have worked for him for a number of years. Now, Mr. Lim is a chef. He's handled the culinary aspect of these rubies. He has not been involved in the management or the day-to-day operations. Mr. Sykes has been. He's been with Rubies since 2013 and principally works for the Rubies that are going to be open. They are not owners. They are not on those licenses. A comment was made that they were both involved in the places that have violations. Let me just discuss that so we can see what it really looks like. There are 6 licenses that Mr. Mather has in New York. One of them is Dudley's on Orchard Street that Mr. Sykes has no involvement in, never had any involvement in, was never the manager of.
I got to stop you again, okay? Because what's in the application means something, all right? So Mr. Sykes does own a restaurant. That's what's in his application.
Where does it say that?
In his personal questionnaire. He's a partner in a restaurant in California. You're shaking your head no, but that's the personal questionnaire that you submitted. That's your only employment that you listed.
No, that's, I believe that is, first of all, we amended that personal questionnaire last week. We amended that personal questionnaire.
Okay, but understand, this material gets to the members, okay, gets to the full board, okay, not a week ago, all right? And that, if that was wrong, it should have been fixed months ago. But he signed a personal questionnaire, and I've been saying this all meeting long. He signed a personal questionnaire that said his only employment, okay, was the owner of a restaurant in California.
That's an entity that they put the payroll through, so that was technically his employer. That's why he put it down. When I reviewed this in preparation for the full board, I said that's
Well,
a
what
little
about when you
misleading.
reviewed it months ago?
It didn't happen. I can't tell you why. Just like the file was sitting with you for months, it was sitting in my office for months. When it came time for full board, that's when I pulled it out and I said, this should be clarified, and we clarified it. If I can just come back to the issue of the violations, because I think that is the real issue here. What I was going to say is that the other location on West 10th Street that Mr. Mather has an interest in, Happiest Hour, Mr. Sykes also has no involvement in. That's where the most serious violations were. And these guys were not involved in any operation dealing with those.
I like these two guys.
Well,
I don't have an issue with these two guys.
then
But
that's-
what I don't like is the name, and I don't like the fact that there's a pattern here amongst all this guy's places, this Mr. Mather's places, that a lack of supervision, a pattern of lack of supervision.
I agree with you. I don't.
Well, then how am I supposed to, and they clearly have the same feeling I do, how am I supposed to believe that that pattern is going to stop now because these two guys who have no experience are coming?
They do have experience. They've been working at Ruby's. They've had restaurants.
Not according to his personal questionnaire he has.
Well, I'm telling you that they have. You want to speak? Let Thomas speak.
Members of the board, good afternoon. So I've been working in restaurants since I was 14 years old. My first job was my uncle's restaurant, washing dishes at his Cantonese restaurant in Perth, Western Australia. The past 23 years, I've been perfecting my culinary craft and focusing on what makes a restaurant, and that for me is community. This for me is my first opportunity to be an owner of a business where I can take control, and I believe in the confidence of my skill set and how I can lead a team and mentor. And if you do grant us this application, you have my word that I'll be running a very professional and respectful business to the community and all the people involved, to our patrons, to the community, and to our employees. Thank you.
Are you open to changing the DBA? You have some kind of agreement with him that it would be called Ruby's Cafe?
I mean, for us, like, we believe in the IP of the brand and like the strength of the brand itself.
I know, but there's the problem with the brand that the community doesn't like. So if you were to get the license, you can run a clean restaurant, as you just said, but it can't be branded as Ruby's. I think, that's one of the problems.
I don't think that there's a problem with the brand or the name Ruby's. And the letters that we submitted, the 270 letters, are all from people
I think all
that
these
do.
hour and wage litigation, there's all these problems.
I don't think
with
it's the
this person
brand.
who's
I think
run-
it's Mr. Mather. and I hate to say that, but I think the reality is that he has been in California for the past 12 years. I spoke to him about it. He told me he comes here about 6 weeks a year. It is clearly not sufficient because he's got these violations. And I think that that is the problem. It's not that it's
You
called
can't argue it
rubies.
both ways. You can't say, we've got this, the problem is the brand. And the community does not like.
I don't think they like the operator, the owner. I don't think it's the brand. I don't think anybody has a problem with how Ruby's operates. I think their concern is that things this owner has done that have been violations or it's problematic.
Hand in hand, right? I mean, he's connected to the brand forever. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
You know, you can argue it either way, but at the end of the day, he's part of both of these things. He's the one that's not supervising anything, and I don't even know if he's majority owner of these other places. But the bottom line is, as they said, he clearly owns the name. Whether
I'm
he
trying to
likes it or
find a
not.
middle ground so you can have this license. If you know, if you're really married to the name, then I don't know if you can have it because the community have an experience with Little Rubies. They're coming in telling you they don't want another Little Rubies in their community. There's nothing more clear about that I can't go against public interest when they're saying that, and they live across the street. And they have dealt with this particular licensee multiple occasions. So I'm trying to find a middle ground where you're no longer called Rubies, but that you're allowed to have the money, because I know also that I cannot say you can't have this partner, because otherwise there is no business.
Just to clarify, in regards to the money, it's not all Mr. Mathers. Like, I've been saving religiously for the past 20 years, and we have our own personal finances. He's not funding this whole operation. This is like the majority comes from myself and Tim Sykes.
So are you willing to get rid of him altogether as a partner? Because then you don't have a problem.
Well, you have less of one. That's
You have less of a problem.
Can I add some relevant information here?
Sure.
You know, as you're speaking about this, your comments aren't actually reflecting the reality. The manager of an establishment is responsible as much as the owner for an establishment, and Mr. Sykes was the manager of Ruby's. So to disassociate that is difficult to understand, as you regularly hold managers responsible for any violations that are issued at any premises. And you know, Mr. Mathers testified in front of us, he owns or has an apartment in New York City, and he spends 50% of his time here. That was the testimony at Community Board 2's hearing on this matter. And you know, Mr. Sykes is the group operations manager.
Did show up at your hearing?
We held it via Zoom, so he did appear. And Mr. Sykes is the group operations manager for Ruby's Cafe and has been since 2012. I mean, to try to untie those relationships here doesn't match the reality. And also, you know, it's been unclear. I was just looking at some old email exchanges regarding Happiest Hour. Mr. DePasquale represented the applicant at that time. There was a whole questions of who owned the establishment at that time as well. And same time at Ruby's back in 2017, there were some corporate changes going on, questions who owns what. And I mean, this pattern of behavior is repeated over and over. And is the separation that you guys are trying to make for the applicants, it's just not true. These are intertwined operators. You know, I'm not saying on all locations. And
No, I appreciate your input, because on our history, as Tom said, that Mr. Sykes' history is only showing as a partner in a restaurant in California.
A partner, not an employee,
Yeah,
a
it
partner.
doesn't say that he's the manager of these Ruby restaurants.
And even he's even held out in publications as a managing partner of Ruby's for their East Village location. So, you know, this is the history with Ruby's, with other locations that Mr. Mathers has, who actually owns it. You know, you know, this isn't anything new here. And the managerial, Mr. Sykes appeared before Community Board 2 on multiple occasions in 2017 and 2018, representing Ruby's on Mulberry Street. Thank you.
Just want to add that Mr. Sykes didn't start until 2013, and a number of the violations for Ruby's predated that. His primary focus the past few years has been on.
A number of them happened after that, too.
Well, only one on Mulberry happened afterwards, only one. And the other ones on Dudley's and Happiest Hour, he had no management there. He was not involved in that at all. Mr. Mather was, but Mr. Sykes was not. The past few years, Mr. Sykes has been on the 3rd Avenue location, opening that in 2016, and then on the East 11th Street, opening that in 2019. There were violations in those two. They were only COVID violations. They're not excusable, but they are COVID violations, which unfortunately were pretty prevalent at the time. No one knows that better than you. I don't think that should disqualify him from having a license. So they're trying to paint this broad picture that these guys have responsibility for everything that happened since 2008, and that's just not true. It's not true. And I think that they have enough independence, they have enough experience, they have the control, they have the majority to be able to operate this, and the method of operation is not in any manner that would cause an unreasonable disturbance to the community and space that's been licensed for 45 years. I think that they have earned from their experience the opportunity to run a restaurant, which is what they're going to do, and we would ask that you approve it with them as the majority owners and in control.
I think we're ready.
All right, members are ready to vote. Commissioner Fan?
How far are you along in the building, in the space?
We'll be ready.
About 85%.
85%.
Already spent considerable funds.
So just tell me again, you've worked for Ruby since when?
2013.
2013, and you?
2012.
2012. And the menu is?
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, so it's basically like an all-day cafe.
Outdoor seating?
Yes.
All right. I fully realize the concerns here, and I know that this corner has been vacant since 2017, so it's horrifying to think that there's going to be crowds of people back in this corner, and we've been trying to avoid that, and we've all been thinking about this corner for years. In fairness to the landlord and to these applicants, I think that they do deserve an opportunity to try their business idea here. Given that it is just a restaurant, and so I'm going to vote to approve with recorded music only, no promoters, no private events. And I'm going to start with 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, and midnight Sunday to Thursday.
Chairman Bradley?
So this is actually the first time, and Mr. Booth and I go back a long way at this point. This is actually the first time that he's actually come in and said, we want a restaurant there, but we don't want these guys. Am I wrong in saying that?
You're correct.
And I understand why. And once again, it is not YouTube. But it is clear to me, based on everything that has been handed in, whether it be the lawsuits, or the disciplinary matters that we've had to deal with here, one of which we're dealing with today, that there is a lack, for whatever reason, of supervision throughout this Ruby's chain, if that's what you want to call it. And I'm not going to drop one right in the middle of Greenwich Village. So I'm going to vote to deny. I don't see any public interest in putting that here.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If we were able to remove Mr. Mathers,
You'll have to ask them. That's between, I mean, if they.
well, it's up to you.
It is up to me, but I mean, I don't know how firm they are against these two gentlemen. I think, in my mind, based on what I've read, the problem seems to be him. Now, it could be because he's an absentee owner, and maybe that's it. It's clear that, to me, that he is the one writing a good portion of the checks for these places. But it can't be, I just don't think that this chain needs to be anywhere near that place. I think all these people want a restaurant there.
Right. Well, I guess my follow-up question then would be is if we wanted to come back and amend the application and remove him, would we be able?
I'd have to listen to them again. I don't know.
No, I understand that, but obviously we'd come back.
It would clear up some problems.
So my question procedurally is, because we don't want to have to wait another 9-10 months.
No.
So would we be able?
If you're changing that, depending on how much you're changing, we might need another 500-foot hearing, so.
Well, let me just say what it would be. Operationally, nothing would change. The only thing that would change is that these two guys would own 100%, Mr. Mather would be out. I don't know if that can be done, but if that can be done, could we do that as an amendment to the application? And then come back?
But you want a new 500-foot hearing?
You might get.
You need that. You need the new
Perhaps.
500-foot, otherwise you're in the
You're going
same
to need to
place.
re-notify the community board.
Which, by the way, might make them eligible for a temp at that point. Oh, no, it hasn't been licensed in the last 2 years.
Look, my only concern is if we do that, and I don't know if it's possible, to wait 10 months is going to be a real hardship.
know, it's-
So I'm trying to find a way of if we can amend the application, send it back for another 500 foot.
Chairman, I just note, if you're going to disapprove this, and it's now disapproved, then the question is it fair to people who've been waiting that this gets moved up? So I would just, toss it out
I
there.
can't make any promises in that regard. You'll have to talk to Tom, and if they can figure out a way to let you amend it for a reconsideration, then we'll do that. But the 500-foot denial still remains.
Yeah, okay. Well, we
And
could
I think
possibly.
We'd like a 500-foot hearing because the resolution we provided to you is based on your own rules with conduct premises, and that's the input for the 500-foot hearing.
All right. So that's taken into account as well, but you'll have to talk to him. I couldn't promise you that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Next is 419 Blend Restaurant and Lounge LLC.
Good afternoon, Chairman Bradley, Commissioner Fan, members of the full board. I'm Arhelio Rodriguez of Rodriguez Law as the attorney for Blend Restaurant and Lounge. I'm here with the two principals. On my left is I'm here with the owner, Mohammed Imamuddin, and his son, who's a manager, Shazim Imamuddin. And so originally, the licensee provided a no contest plea to these two charges of focal point for police attention and failure to supervise. Since then, we've amended it to a conditional no contest in the amount of $6,500. We were called back since the full board received a letter from a state senator. And I did want to say a few comments on this case. The licensee has spoken with the local precinct on numerous occasions. He's attended nightlife meetings with community affairs, and he has open communications. And the licensee has implemented all recommendations provided to him. Most recently, and the principal can speak to this after I finish, the licensee spoke with the state senator since the last full board meeting. The majority of the incidences and the police reports that were provided by Margarita Marsico, they specify incidences that occurred after a patron leaves or after the licensee has closed, so after 4 a.m. The licensee has at all times been proactive in preventing misconduct
inside and around the licensed premises
How?
and engaging with security.
How?
He has security, two out front and 4 inside.
Well, what are they doing? We have assaults that happen out front. We have shootings that are happening out front. You're right. Some of it probably was unrelated, but some of it was clearly related.
Since those incidences, the licensee has implemented a strict policy of preventing gatherings outside in front. There's a policy now of pushing patrons out, dispersing them, asking them to hail a taxi further out, away from the business, so that there's no excessive gathering. That was a recommendation by the NYPD. There haven't been incidences since that shooting you mentioned. And I'll add that we provided the licensee's contract. They changed the security company after that shooting, and we provided the security company license. I did want to give an opportunity for the principal to say a few words.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohammed Imamuddin, and I'm the owner of Blend Restaurant and Lunch. I have taken into consideration the seriousness of the charges about misconduct in the area, and my son has made an effort to speak with the captain of police at 102 Precinct, and we're trying our best to minimize whatever noise and disturbance there may be outside of the premises, because from my knowledge, there is no noise inside that's coming out. We are on the second floor, and there's no windows whatsoever. So you could hardly hear anything outside about noise or whatever conversation going on there. I understand from the last meeting that the senator had written a letter, and I made an effort to speak with him. He called me back last Friday, and he said I should take things very seriously and work in cooperation with the board and the precinct. And I'm doing everything I can to save my business and to make a living.
Are you at the business or are you letting him run it?
He operates as a manager. I go there to help in the supervision in and out of the property.
Okay. There's obviously someone who's watching you, because it's very, very rare that we would get a letter from a senator like that. So make sure you just.
I got to say something with that the letter from the board. Since we've been there, we never really received any letter from the board saying, listen, come in and talk to us about the issue that's going on. We never had anything, no letters from the community board encourage us to go and let's talk about the problem that's going on. Even when they had the vote.
Well, I'm going to stop you there. Why do they need to?
Well, if they
You
had
don't understand people shouldn't be getting shot in front of your business?
No, I understand that, but that was the.
People shouldn't get beat up in front of your business? The community board doesn't need to tell you you're not running your business properly.
Right.
If you don't figure that out on your own, you're not going to have a business long.
Well, this is how I understand those situations happened after we were closed. People thought.
You keep pointing to one. Yeah, perhaps there was one instance where you were closed and it was people from another nightclub.
Right.
But there are numerous incidents where you were open.
Okay.
And stuff was happening out front and inside.
And that's
so let's leave the one away.
Right.
Let's forget about that one.
And that was
let's
probably
focus on the ones that you were open for.
And that was probably the security company that I had before, which I got rid of. And moving forward, which I did, I had extra security that I hired. On top of that, I have 2 cars right now from the security company that's going around the premises to making sure no one is around the establishment hanging around. As soon as we close, everyone is advised to leave the premises. If they need to wait for a cab, they have to go down the block to wait for an Uber. So we're making the effort to, work with the community and the precinct. I have an open relationship with the captain of the 102.
Well, that's helpful. I hope. All right.
Again, this is before he was a no contest.
Well, no, he withdrew the no contest and now wants a CNC of 6,500.
Unless you guys want to set the.
I'll let him do that. Well, if I don't like the 6,500, I'll count it. But I'm not gonna. They can change their plea if they want. I don't care. Go ahead.
I'll take the 6,500.
Chairman?
I'm gonna counter at 10.
That.
Yeah, I'll go to 10.
10,000. Counter at 10,000.
That's right.
And there is 2 pages of stuff here. and a letter from a state senator. I guarantee you the first one that's going to be on the phone if something happens is to me is the state senator. That will be it.
And I think they had an important conversation, and I think that relationship has been
I
substantially
don't think
improved.
the senator was doing his job. There was no bad relationship. These are people that are his constituents that where this is all going on. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
I understand.
All right.
All
Good luck.
right, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
All right. Next is 379 219 Mulberry LLC. Rubies.
I'll take 10,000.
Can you put your names on the record at least?
Donald Bernstein on behalf
Can
of the
you just
licensee.
explain to me how this operates? You have 2 licenses here because the buildings are not contiguous.
Yes, it's one building, and
So they're being operated separately.
they are now being operated separately. There's the residential entrance of the building intersects the 2 commercial spaces.
Okay. So there's not going to be any more use of the backyard, period.
We have put up signs, we put an electric monitoring device, they've spoken to the staff. It's never used by patrons, but once in a while a staff member goes out, and they've actually fired people for doing that and continue to threaten to do that. It is
This is the second time this has
It's the second time. It is also a shared courtyard, so sometimes someone may be there that has nothing to do with Ruby's.
Stuff back there.
Yes, they were storing empty beer kegs, which they stopped doing.
Okay, I'll accept.
Okay, thank you.
Next is 408 Mo Convenience Store, Inc.
Sand Park representative, More Convenience Store INC, is the owners. State your name, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Atwain. I'm the owner of the store.
You have a temp, right?
What is that?
You have a temp? You're operating with a temporary
Temporary
license right now?
Yes. Yeah, we have temporary license.
Okay. All right. Do you have another partner in this business?
What do you mean, another business?
No partner.
You have a partner?
No, no, only me.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna vote to approve.
I'll vote to approve as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is 369 QNS Kids Court.
Sand Park representative,
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Yip.
Don't touch the microphone.
Oh, yeah, if you
okay?
can. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Mabul Alam.
Mr. Lopez is gone, right?
Yes, yes.
And you are the Queen's kids.
so 2 kids.
So one of your employment histories indicates that you worked at a rooftop lounge.
Yes.
Both of you worked at a rooftop lounge? or just
I did.
one?
I did.
Is there a name to that rooftop lounge?
Komodo Rooftop in Brooklyn.
Can we look that up? Mike or somebody? There's the name. Komodo?
They both work there, it looks like, right?
Yes.
I looked at the address, I didn't find anything.
They have a liquor license?
Yes.
It's cool. Who's cooking? Who's the chef?
I don't remember. It was 7
No,
years
who's
ago.
the chef for your restaurant?
Oh, Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
You open now without liquor?
We have a temp right now.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes.
What are your hours?
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to midnight, and Saturday, Sunday, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m.
And Mr. Lopez is still involved or not involved?
He's not.
Can't even find a license?
What's the bathroom situation?
Yeah, I don't think they had a license.
What's the address on that Brooklyn? Did that place have were they just serving booze illegally, your old place that you were, not your old place, but the place you worked at? Or did they have a liquor license?
They had a liquor license.
What was the address?
It was on top of Sheraton Hotel.
Oh, it's in Brooklyn.
20.
Did you find it? Oh, I Googled it, so it's 228 Duffield Street?
Yes.
Okay,
228.
so it was part of the hotel?
It was part of the hotel. Yeah.
All All right, we're ready, Donald.
Part of Sheraton, Brooklyn, yeah. All right,
Wait.
Commissioner Fan.
You know that, do you know the history of this place as far as the previous licensee?
The place that we own right now?
Yeah.
No.
Got canceled. That prior, 2019, you probably weren't aware of it. but,
Okay.
The point being that there's been bad history there, so.
It's a small restaurant. We have about 16 seats.
I don't know what they were doing, it was.
Yeah.
What's the bathroom situation?
We have one shared bathroom.
Okay. I'm gonna vote to approve. At midnight across the board, recorded music only. No promoters, no private events. Bathroom waivers, okay.
Chairman.
I'll do the same.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be licensed as a Sheraton.
Say that again?
It's a place. It's a Sheraton hotel. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not a problem.
Next is 418, 420 Food Group Corp.
Good afternoon, Miguel Acosta here on behalf of 420 Food Group. I was here on the 8th, requested to come back today. Unfortunately, the principal was unable to attend today's hearing due to the fact that he had prior engagements with his other business. I did provide on Friday.
Well, what do you mean you had a prior engagement?
Yeah, no.
I mean, we have a 500-foot hearing here where the ALJ said there's no public interest, which means he's got to come here and explain to us why there is public interest with your assistance.
Yes, we
But
discussed.
he's not here.
Okay, because when we left last time, we had discussed the information requested regarding the ALJ's 500-foot
We had
public
that, and we
interest.
said we need
Needed community.
community board.
Yes,
So- oh,
that
you
was,
have something.
yeah, that was provided and the menu as well.
Okay.
We also discussed the hours of operations in reference to his request and the prior history of that location. In the event that we did agree with the community board to be flexible during the week and close at 2 a.m. So if the board is willing to consider this application,
The community board said you could have karaoke, but he hasn't applied for karaoke on his application.
I'm not seeing, I'm not sure.
The community board said DJ recorded live music and karaoke, but on the application, he's only asking for recorded and live music and a DJ.
Yeah, it must have been a product. I'm not sure. It must have been a typo on the community board notice.
Yeah, I do have that. I am explaining that would be a new neighbor and those are saturated, if I say express concern. All right. All right, I'm going to vote to approve Sunday to Thursday, 12 a.m., Friday, Saturday, 2 a.m., recorded live DJ music.
Thank you.
No promoters, no private events.
Thank you.
Chairman?
I'll do the
Sunday
same.
to Thursday, 12 a.m., Friday, Saturday, 2 a.m.
I'll do the same.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 393 DYCKMAN Billiards Cafe Inc.
Wait, we have.
Yeah, you probably have that.
You already have that.
Good afternoon, Chair, again. Miguel Acosta on the record again. I would like to see if we can adjourn this, move this on another date. My client was unable to appear today, but I'm an accountant and I won't be available until the 26th of April, if that's possible.
4/26.
Yes.
That's fine.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yeah. Over to 426.
Tax day.
391 Patilla Grill 2 Incorporated.
Neil Trivedi for the applicant. I have the owner of the corporation.
Hi, good afternoon. Srinivas Gangula.
It's a restaurant. At the 500-foot hearing, the judge did not find.
What happened there? They were commenting on the
The
traffic.
judge did not find that it would be in the public interest, but.
What are your hours?
11 to 12.
12 midnight?
I'm sorry?
11 to 12 midnight?
Yes.
It's what kind of restaurant is it?
It's a fine Indian restaurant, fine dining.
It's sit down though.
Sit down.
Recorded music?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna vote to approve midnight across the board recorded music only.
Yep.
Chairman Bradley.
I gave a big speech.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's about 2 weeks ago regarding the public interest questionnaires. Your public interest questionnaire in this application contradicted the application itself in so many ways, I don't even know where to point out.
No, it was not.
It wasn't good, but I'll vote to approve.
But the only thing was
with the
missing
same
was,
conditions.
it's the same thing was that it did not say an Indian restaurant.
No, it was contradictory.
Okay.
But am I wrong?
You got it proved, so I would just leave it at that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, sir.
coming in.
Thank you.
Were they eligible for a temp?
No, I don't think so.
Next is 421 Gray Lady East LLC.
No, because of the negative parking code.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. they want-
No, that's what I'm saying. They got the negative 500. What if they got a positive 500?
I'd have to check it.
That's my point. is
Hold
that
on.
It may cost them 6
I can tell you in a
months.
second.
What, say that number again?
421 Gray Lady East LLC.
No, that place wasn't licensed, so they wouldn't have gotten it.
Good afternoon. My name is Frank Palillo. My wife says this cold makes my voice sound sexy. What do you think, Mr. Chairman? Think so, Mr. Chairman?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, fine. I'd like to know for the record, that there's an offer before you, it's $5,000.
We're going to have to go up from that.
I just would like to bring your attention to the fact that this premises has been sold. There's no cash consideration. There will be a payment made within 2 years, starting within 2 years. You'll be seeing that application very shortly. This is a venture that has been a mistake from day one. And I sat with my client, and the exact quote was he would not go back into Montauk if he was on fire. And that was the only fire
That makes sense.
engine.
I mean, what I would have done if I was him was when he promised us not to engage in the exact same conduct that he went and engaged in again. He promised us in 2017. I would have backed out then, but he kept going.
Mr. Chairman, I can't argue the case because it's offer in compromise, but 2 police officers arrived at the premises, and 2 police officers had different opinions as to what the proper occupancy of the premises
It doesn't
was.
matter what the proper was. He was so far off.
It's
he wasn't
just-
gonna get there anyway.
Sounds like you're arguing the case, though.
More or less.
I'm going to go to. I have 20, but I don't think I can get Commissioner Fan up that high. I'm going to go to 10.
Mr. Chairman, I hear you. If you do that, he's not going to pay it, the license will be canceled, and the applicant who's coming in will lose the summer. And that's what I'm trying to
And
avoid.
he needs to find a way to pay it.
There's no money. There's literally no money.
I can't help him. He just did the.
5,000
I just beat up a guy that's got not even 1/3 of the history this guy has for being out in the Hamptons.
Mr. Chairman, this 5,000 is me beating the client over the
I'll
head.
go to 7,500. That's the end of it.
That's
Commissioner
good.
Fan.
7,500.
Thank you.
Next is 397 International Food House Inc.
This is a license that I was here, I think, maybe 6 months ago or more, and the premises closed immediately afterwards. They just couldn't survive after COVID, so just
Cancel them, Bob.
gonna ask you to cancel it.
Yeah, cancel them,
Cancel.
Bob.
Thank you.
415 KUKOO Bar Inc.
This is Mr. Flynn's case. I understand he asked a lot of the other representatives to be here today, but everyone else said no, so I was the last one. And he's asking that you accept the offer in compromise.
2,500.
2,500.
Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is. You can send a message to Mr. Flynn though. This is it.
This is it.
Yeah, I mean that's their history. I don't need to.
I'll text them as soon as I finish.
This is it.
Have a good day.
Next is 354 Serafina To Go 22 and Park LLC.
Good afternoon. Joseph Levy here on behalf of Serafina To Go 22 and Park LLC. Request before you is for a bathroom waiver for the space.
So my question is, how are you, because, yeah, we don't collect the certificate of occupancy anymore until the renewal. How are you going to get one for a restaurant that has no bathroom? You're not going to be able to, I don't believe the city will allow you to walk through the kitchen. I know we won't allow it.
Sure. Well, we're
And now you have to go outside.
We're 19 seats. So as far as New York City Code's concerned, the health department's concerned, we don't have a requirement of having a bathroom.
So they don't require, their
Correct.
zoning does not
We have a
require.
valid health permit, and it's the same exact building, same landlord. We have two different paths. They're both ADA accessible. There's an elevator, there are stairs, there's a ramp outside. And we tried to provide photos and diagrams showing you how you get there. You have two different options. And again, it's primarily takeout and to go. That's the business. So it's not a model where people are sitting down and spending the day or
How
spending
many
hours.
seats are there?
19.
19, you said that already. Okay.
And we have, community board support closing at 11 p.m. But the reality is most days this place closes at 8 p.m. It really is a grab and go type space, beer and wine. And people are not spending a
I
tremendous
mean, I
amount
don't
of
have a problem giving it to you, but I hope you're right about the C of O, because eventually they are going to need one with us.
Yep.
Yeah, we asked for it by renewal.
We have a TCO for the
We
record.
passed an advisory, no more.
Oh, I thought after the second one.
No, we.
Okay, so you won't need one for us. Good.
Just for the record, we do have a valid TCO. We've been inspected.
All right.
Guess Commissioner Fan?
I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna ask you to like actually make a sign and say like direct people to the actual bathrooms so that people, so that it's self-explanatory, just because.
With respect to the license application, assuming there is no other issue,
I don't.
can we, all right.
Do you want to put your comments on the old man rule for the lack of bathroom, Tom, that you told me about?
This wouldn't qualify because I'm not that far away, but I do have what I call my old man rule, okay? If you submit something, and me as an old man, if I think it's too far for me to walk, it's going to the full board. We're not granting the waiver.
Fair enough. Well, to your old man point.
Any
I
application
asked him how this ended up here, and that was the answer I get.
Well,
No,
to
it ended up because of the walking through the kitchen.
I just gave that as an option to illustrate really how close it was. But I anticipated that people would exit the premise and go either right or left. And again,
Yeah, don't let them through the kitchen.
No,
That'll-
that would be
through the kitchen.
that would be
don't-
unsafe. I just like I said, did that to illustrate how close it actually was.
All right, good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next is 355 TTS MONTAUK LLC.
Another one.
They're crazy out there on the end of Long Island.
Everybody's moving furniture around.
Good afternoon. My name is Benjamin Korngut. I'm the attorney for TT's MONTAUK LLC. I have with me today John Garrett Young, who's one of the principals of the licensee. This is in connection with a conditional no contest offer of $10,000. The papers I've submitted contain most of the information, but there are two factors that I wanted to make sure the board was aware of. One is that the incidents occurred over a short period of time, coinciding with July 4th holiday this past summer. And the second is that all the underlying summonses issued by the town of East Hampton have all been dismissed in the local court. Given the licensee's limited disciplinary history, all they have is an executive order violation in 2021. We request that the board consider an amount lower than the $10,000.
They've only been open since September of 2019.
That's correct.
We shut everybody March of 2020 until June approximately, and for most of the summer 2020. So on paper, they've basically been open a year,
Well, this is season 5.
maybe a year and a half. I'm assuming you weren't open most of 2020.
We were open all of 2020.
How did you open? We shut all restaurants from March until June.
We were
Doing takeout?
March to June. We opened in June.
The bulk of their season, obviously, it's in Montauk is in
No,
the
I
summer.
know, but you're the third. Hampton's Montauk place to come up here, and you're the newest, lucky for you. But I'm not taking 10, I'll take 15. Because you're moving furniture around, you're having a dance floor, you're operating as a nightclub. You're not a nightclub. They're correct in a restaurant?
They're a restaurant with recorded and live acoustic music only.
You want to lose this whole place? Just show up this summer, because you come back here, it's done.
Commissioner Fan?
Commissioner, if I may, it was over July 4th weekend. They acknowledged that mistakes
They
were
moved
made.
their tables. They moved the furniture so they could turn it into a nightclub.
This was for essentially
I don't care what day it
one
was.
weekend.
I don't care if it was Christmas. It doesn't matter. You're a restaurant. Behave
It was
like
two
a restaurant.
weekends.
It was over a 10-day period.
Well, that's not one weekend, it's 2 weekends.
I think it was 3 weekends.
It was the 4th through the 15th, 16th.
7, 4, 7,
You're right,
8,
2
7,
yeah.
16, 7, 15. Oh, 15,000 for me.
15,000.
Thank you.
And Jonathan, no one else is here, right?
That's correct.
All right.
Yeah, but my daughter's still watching though, so.
With the dogs?
Yep.
356 is an offer of cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
357 is an offer of 2,500.
I'm gonna go to 1,000.
1,000.
So 358, we received an email from the attorney yesterday withdrawing the application.
Withdrawing, really?
Yeah.
Are we sure they're not open?
I wouldn't count on it.
Wholesale.
I know, but this is
Yeah.
shady.
Exactly. It's already, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. 360 is an offer of 10,000.
10,000.
361 is an offer of 6,000.
6,000.
362 is an offer of 1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
363 and 364 is an offer of cancel and bond.
Cancel and
Cancel and
bond.
bond.
365 is an offer of 5,000.
5,000.
5,000.
366 and 368 is an offer of 10,500.
10,500.
10,500.
367 is an offer of 4,500.
4,500.
4,500.
370 is a new on-premises liquor application.
Denied.
Denied.
Spring Valley, they needed to come and explain why they needed to be open.
371 is an offer of 2,500.
2,500.
2,500.
372 is an offer of 4,500.
4,500.
4,500.
373 is an offer of 1,500.
1,500.
1,500.
374 is an offer of 2,500.
2,500.
2,500.
375 is an offer of 5,000.
5,000.
5,000.
380 is an offer of 5,000.
5,000.
5,000.
381 is an offer of 1,500.
1,500.
1,500.
382 is an offer of 3,000.
I'm actually gonna go to 1,000.
1,000.
383 is an offer of 5,000.
I was willing to lower that.
You are? Okay.
4,000.
4,000.
384 is an offer of 2,500.
2,500.
2,500.
385 is an offer of 2,500.
2,500.
2,500.
386 is a new grocery store beer, or a grocery store beer wine transfer application.
Yeah.
Okay.
Granted.
I'll vote to approve. So
396 is a package store alteration application.
vote to approve.
398 is an offer of 5,000.
5,000.
5,000.
399 is an offer of 2,500.
2,500.
2,500.
401 and 402 is an offer of 8,500.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I was gonna counter at 12, given when this license was issued and what's going on already.
Yeah, this is very late.
Cancellation is on the table.
Yeah. It's 12?
Yeah.
12,000.
403 is an offer of 2,000.
2,000.
2,000.
The 404 is a request for reconsideration from council's office.
Yes. Okay to recon 3,500 accepted.
3,500.
409 is a new grocery store beer and wine products application.
I'll approve.
I'll approve.
411 is an offer of 500.
I'll accept 500.
500.
412 is an offer of 3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
413 is an offer of 6,000.
I was gonna go to 10.
Yes.
Live bands in the street, 17,311 complaints.
Yep.
I'll go
Agree.
counter at 10.
Agree with Chairman, counter at 10.
414 is an offer of cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
416 is an offer of 4,000.
4,000.
420 is an offer of 8,000.
8,000.
Oh, what the licensee was supposed to appear today.
Say that again?
Put over for the licensee to appear.
Yeah, it was held over last time for the licensee to appear.
Oh, so then we
Did we
should
hear
just
of anything?
Is there a supplemental? If not, let's see.
So then cancel and bond.
cancel and
But
bond.
there was a supplemental.
Oh, they sent the supplemental?
Yeah. They,
Oh, wait, then.
Larry submitted. Sam Park submitted this supplemental. He was here.
That was, I did read that. Larry asked him.
Asked him for different.
Yeah, Larry told him what we needed and he never got back to us. Cancel and bond.
Yeah.
I mean, he got back to Larry.
He did? What's it say? I didn't.
Photos of that.
Yeah, he just sent photos in.
Okay.
We asked the licensee to come.
Yeah.
Should we keep it? Do you want to clarify with them that they're not coming?
Well, I also had a little concerns of maybe, I don't know if Larry told him that all we needed were that stuff and that he didn't need to come. I didn't know.
Is that what his email says?
No, but I didn't know if that was
Owner.
maybe a little confusion with that.
Fixed.
All right.
It's fine. I'll take it.
All
I'll
right,
take
I'll
the
take it
8,000.
as well.
It's fine. Since they've been around since 97. I'll take it.
All right. I have
Thank you.
nothing else. Chairman, do you have anything?
No.
All right. Meeting's adjourned.